and welcome to the end seminar of the project St. Petersburg Saimaa Lakeland Travel Corridor. I'm very happy to see you here, and there are also some participants online, and we have also some of the presentations online today. Can everybody hear me well? I hope everything is okay. That's great. So, my name is Susanna Peura, and I work for Savonlinna Development Services. It is a company owned by the city of Savonlinna, and we are acting as the lead partner of this project. And today, before we go into the actual contents of today, I will tell you shortly some technical information. Those of you who are watching this event today online, you can comment and ask us questions in the chat box of the YouTube streaming. So you can participate by writing your questions and thoughts. And I have here in Savonlinna my colleague Jaana Komi, who is working also in this project as our content specialist. And she will be moderating the questions. So if you have anything in mind, Jaana will then let us know. We started the program now about at 10 o'clock, and then at 12 o'clock Finnish time we are going to have 1 hour's lunch break. And then in the afternoon at 2:30 we are going to have a 30 minutes break. All these times that you can see, they are indicated in Helsinki time. So then we are planning to end the program today by 4 o'clock. But yes, I will first tell you generally about this project before we continue then into the achievements and other presentations of today. St. Petersburg Saimaa Lakeland Travel Corridor, which is also known shortly as Corridor Project, is a tourism development project which has lasted now almost 3 years. So it began in the beginning of year 2019, and it lasts now still a couple of weeks, so we are ending the project at the end of this year. The budget has been almost 840,000 euros. It is mostly funded by the South-East Finland Russia CBC 2014-2020 program. So 80% of the budget is funded by the European Union, the Russian Federation and the Republic of Finland through the program. And the rest of the financing comes from the project partners. We are totally 6 partners in this project, so we had 4 partners in Finland and 2 partners in Russia. You will hear their presentations as well today. We have from Mikkeli Development Miksei Ltd as our partner, in Lappeenranta the city of Lappeenranta itself, and in Imatra Region Development Company we have also colleagues in this project. From Russia, the project partners are St. Petersburg City Tourist Information Bureau and Tourist Information Center of Leningrad Region. And here on site in Savonlinna we have today Ms. Amira Amirova, who is presenting the Tourist Information Center of Leningrad Region, and she will give us a presentation then after the lunch break. On this slide you can see a summary of the objectives that we have had in this project. The project has aimed to grow tourism business in this area, and that happens of course through attracting here new customers. The project wanted to provide service providers with better skills, so we have had, for example, some training. New products for new customer groups and nationalities have been developed during the project. And one of the most essential tasks has been the promoting of this St. Petersburg Saimaa Lakeland Travel Corridor area for foreign tourists. Through this project we have realized a cross-border cluster of tourism service provided with shared brand. The brand for this travel corridor area was defined as one destination of two distinct experiences, and I think that this slide presents well this idea. On the Finnish side, we have Lake Saimaa. We have nature as our unique selling point here. But on the other side of the border, there is St. Petersburg, which has vast offerings of culture and history. But between these two areas, there is an important factor that connects us. There's the corridor factor, and that is the Leningrad region, which combines Lake Saimaa and St. Petersburg. Here I will give you some examples of the project achievements. I won't go too deep into them because you will learn about them more later today. So our partner in St. Petersburg did a vast marketing survey in this project, and its results were used, for example, in the travel package development. Lappeenranta has developed a destination manual which includes, for example, logistic information and information about the visa regulations. We have offered trainings for companies. There has been, for example, product development for international travel groups. In Savonlinna we had few workshops in November, and last month Imatra had a networking event where we heard about digital visibility. New travel packages and new travel products are also results of this project. Here you can have a sneak peek into the destination manual. It presents all these 6 partner areas, but I won't go too deep into that because Mirka Rahman from Lappeenranta will tell you today more about it. And here you can see some examples of the product development of the new packages. And here in Savonlinna we had the workshops where these new experience travel products were developed. So we were very pleased to see that more than 30 participants came to develop together new products. So we are going to have then very interesting offering for the future for the international travel groups. One of the biggest benefits of this project has been also the international visibility and all the contacts that have been created during this project. There have been printed materials. For example, our partner in Leningrad region had an article in the Dutch version of the National Geographic magazine. And the latest issue of Nordis magazine, it's a German-speaking travel magazine, has a four-page article about this project area. Brochures have been developed and maps, and there have been also workshops, for example, this autumn when traveling was again, after a long break possible, in Brussels, Milan and Madrid. Our project represents where in those workshops and they represented this travel corridor area. Contact with tour operators have been created, and our partner in Mikkeli made 4 fan trips. And we have also created a website, travelcorridor.info, and I will then tell you a little bit more about it at the end of today. Here you can see some pictures from the fan trip. This is actually from the latest one. And on these fan trips, these project partners areas were then presented, for example, for tour operators. And here you can see some examples of the press and media events in which our project partners have participated. You can find on this slide my contact information, so if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. And I already also write here you the website address. Our project website is still a little bit under development, but you can already write the address down, so it will then contain a lot of useful information which both tourists and also, for example, travel companies can use then later in the future as well. This was all from my side at the beginning of the day. Do you have any questions at this point of the day? I guess not. So in that case, I will give the floor next to Ms. Sonja Miettinen. We have been cooperating with her a lot in the project because she is representing the managing authority of the project. Sonja Miettinen is working as program coordinator of the South-East Finland Russia CBC program. She works in Regional Council of South Karelia, and her presentation will tell us more about tourism in cross-border cooperation. So please, Sonja, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Susanna, and happy to see everybody online, and I hope you have a big audience in Savonlinna. I'm sorry I couldn't be there today myself, but yes, my name is Sonja Miettinen and I work in the managing authority of the South-East Finland Russia CBC program. Next slide, please. So just to remind you a little bit about the background in the program, here you can see the map, the area where we work. The dark blue is the core region of the program. The area contains South Karelia and Kymenlaakso on the Finnish side, and Leningrad region and St. Petersburg on the Russian side. And then we have the neighboring regions as adjoining area of the program, and many activities have been conducted there as well. But the main region is the functioning area of both the corridor project and the program. Next slide, please. Here is a short summary or a small summary about the funding that has been given out to projects. I hope you can see this small statistics, or if not, you can maybe get the presentation afterwards. But the dark blue lines or bulks are the requested grants, and then the red ones are the total contracted funding. So the red ones are maybe the most interesting for you. So in total we have given out 70.3 million euro to different development and infrastructure projects. And maybe the priority one is the most suitable for the tourism sector. So 17.4 million has been given out to projects developing business SMEs and including tourism ideas, but also the priority 3, the environmental priority, of course, has a lot of connections to tourism as well. Next slide, please. And here you can see the same idea in a different figure. So this is a statistics presenting the amount of applications and projects. So once again, you can see the red one is the most interesting for you. I hope you don't have any issues with the red and green. Sorry for those who might have. But we have funded in total 71 development and infrastructure projects, 23 of those in priority 1, developing business and SME, and 21 in priority 3, environmental protection. And of course, all these projects don't have things to do with tourism, but many of them, of course, do. Next slide, please. This diagram presents you the keywords of the funded projects. And here you can see, for example, business, 44 mentions, tourism, 16 mentions, environment, 38 mentions. These are probably probably some aspects that are also present in many travel and tourism projects. Of course, also social development, innovation, and so on. Next slide, please. But then to get to the theme that is on the podium today, how the program develops cross-border tourism. Well, the answer is twofold. On the other hand, of course, we at the program don't do much. We are the bureaucrats that give out money and give out support for those who actually do the development work. But then again, of course, the indirect impact of the program is large, as we have a lot of projects working on the theme. Next slide, please. So as mentioned, we have a broad range of projects dealing with travel and tourism. Maybe the most common themes are nature and ecotourism, sports and leisure, cycle tourism as a detail, and also several projects developing history tourism. And these are now the projects that develop tourism as such. But of course, there are many projects that have indirect impact also into tourism. For example, we have projects developing skills needed in the tourism sector. For example, for third sector actors or students in vocational colleges at the moment who will at some point of their life probably work with tourism. There are many nature preservation projects that also have a sustainable tourism development point of view. And then again, of course, we have several infrastructure projects that improve the, for example, ports and border crossing points that, of course, have an impact on tourism as well. Next slide, please. So here are a couple of examples of projects doing nature tourism and ecotourism. For example, Visit Vuoksi develops sustainable tourism in the River Vuoksi area, and Riv Times, one of our newest projects, develops new nature tourism attractions in the River Hiitolanjoki area. Next slide, please. Two mentions for cycle tourism development. The project Bicycle is developing touristic and hospitality entrepreneurship, so quite direct tourism development. But then again, for example, the cycling project between Svetogorsk and Imatra, building new cycling infrastructure, a new cycle track between the two cities, of course, has an indirect impact on cycle tourism, of course, as well. Next slide, please. Then we have many projects dealing with sports and leisure. Vector Sport is a project developing sports tourism products and networks, and they deal through joint events and benchmarking. 30 Miles Rosfin develops yachting services and infrastructure development in the eastern Gulf of Finland, so they are enhancing free time yachting traveling. And then VIP & Co, maybe a bit of more infrastructural point of view. They are modernizing the passenger terminal of the seaport of Viborg. Next slide, please. And as mentioned, we have several projects that develop history tourism. Suvorov develops the accessibility of the fortification and canal network of the Suvorov route. So you probably know Suvorov is an ancient Russian warlord, if you can say so, who has joined history in South-East Finland and the Russian side. Then a kind of a mirror project to Suvorov, of course, not combined, but as a happy surprise, we received two similar projects. The Sprängporten, kind of the same idea, but the cross-border history is coming from the Swedish side. So the Sprängporten is then again a Swedish warlord who has developed the area. And the Sprängporten project is developing a tourist center and historical exhibitions in Ristiina in Finland. from which you actually saw a picture in Susanna's presentation, the rock paintings, and Vyborg in Russia. And Strengporten also has a nice point of view of organizing workshops and youth camps. So in addition to developing business, they are also involving a lot of the local citizens into the development work. Then Kings Road Renaissance is developing digital tourism services along the Kings Road. So the old mailing route between Turku and St. Petersburg. And Finagrunnat is developing a history-based eco-trail and natural attractions in Kurenniemi, and this is based on Mikael Agricola and his national heritage history. Next slide, please. And then to sum up, we of course have the Saimaa St. Petersburg travel corridor, which is our topic today. I won't go into detail of this project because we have several experts who know the issue better than I do, but I would now like to thank and congratulate the project partners for all your efforts, for the good development you have done, and especially your innovative view to developing tourism in a time where we cannot travel physically. So thank you and congratulations, all the best in your future development work as well.
And also for your kind words. And as the project manager of this project, I want to say also a very warm thank you for all your help which you have provided us in this project. So it has been very nice to work with you, and we hope that we can cooperate with you also in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm happy to hear, and of course vice versa. If you go to the last slide,
yes,
you can see our contact details if you are interested in these projects, or then again the several projects that do something with tourism that weren't mentioned today. You can find the funded projects on our website, and you can contact us through the website or in social media. And if you have any questions or comments, I'm happy to discuss. But of course, I also understand that we might want to get on in the program to stay in time. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions in the audience here, or? No, there are no questions here. So, what kind of tourism projects there are going on, and there are so much that have something to do with the history of this area. So I think that especially this cultural history is now one important topic that is more and more appreciated also in the tourism. Yes, thank you very much. I think we had, unfortunately, some technical issues here in the hall, so I guess you didn't maybe hear all the sound very well, so maybe could we have a couple of minutes break so that we could get the voice here better, the sound a little bit louder in the room for the participants on site. So we are going to have a couple of minutes technical break here so that the audience here on site can hear better. So I'm sorry for the delay, but after a couple of minutes we continue with the next presentation. So next speaker is actually joining us from Russia. So we are moving from Finland to Russia. And we will hear welcoming words by Ms. Ekaterina Bocharova. She is the head of Department of the Development of Priority Tourist Trends in the Committee for Culture and Tourism of Leningrad region. We have been working with Ms. Bocharova in this project because she is one of our steering group members. So please go ahead, Ms. Bocharova.
Thank you. Good morning to all. I'm glad to welcome the conference participants from the Committee of Culture and Tourism of Leningrad region. We are very glad to take part in this project. Thanks. We can promote our region with package together with Finnish partners. There are new interesting materials for tour operators. We have improved the neighborhood ties between our regions. I want to say I'm sorry. And I hope for future effective joint cooperation between our regions, our partners, and all together. Thank you very much.
So thank you, and thank you very much also for your cooperation.
So, we will hear more about Leningrad region's achievements in the afternoon after their lunch, when we have then Amira Amirova speaking, and she will tell us then more closely about Leningrad regions. And from Russia, we will move now back to Finland. And we all know that COVID-19 pandemic has caused quite a lot of challenges in tourism and in international cooperation, which naturally also applies to our project. In this extraordinary situation, we were encouraged by the managing authority to develop out-of-the-box ideas to obtain results despite these exceptional working conditions. Imatra took this bit of advice literally, and they tried a substantially new approach in order to achieve the project target of promoting this St. Petersburg Saimaa Lakeland travel corridor to potential tourists. At the same time, they have created a common space where all partners can present themselves together in a modern way for a long time after the project has ended. So let's have a look at Imatra 3D and find out more about its features. Sven Langbain, project manager of our partner Imatra Region Development Company, will take us now on a virtual tour of Imatrankoski Rapids. Welcome, Sven.
Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear well.
Okay, I'm sitting in the Finnish forest, so if it's a problem to have the video and this presentation at the same time, maybe there's not enough bandwidth, so please, so I will now try to share this presentation. Can you see it?
Yes, we do.
Great. All right, yes. As Susanna said, my name is Sven Langbain. For those of you who haven't met me, I am a project manager at Imatra Region Development Company. And I kind of jumped into this project in the beginning of this year when Katja moved to Go Saimaa. So the project had been running for 2 years before that, and it took until summer until we developed this extraordinary idea. And I would like to jump back and go through with you what was the idea behind this whole thing. As you know, it's unfortunately common for these projects that when they end, there's not enough resources to keep on promoting them, keep on marketing them, keep on developing them, and those outcomes. So we wanted to create something sustainable that will outlive the project. So we thought about how we could do that, and we wanted to create a virtual space to get potential tourists acquainted with the whole idea of a travel corridor. You know, if you say travel corridor, for a lot of people, that's just, it's bureaucratic, it's kind of abstract. If you talk to tourists, come to see our Lake Saimaa travel corridor, it's not very easy to grasp what it is. So we wanted to bring out the concept and tell about the concept in a way that is attractive and makes it interesting, so they get to know the concept, but we're not talking with project terms. So the concept of travel corridor, then the partner cities and regions, we wanted to show the partner cities and tell the different opportunities, what kind of cities you can visit here, present the regions. And we wanted to share the material produced in the project in another way than just a download area on some kind of website. Because in this project, we've developed brochures. There's this, the website itself. We've developed a podcast that was published just this morning. Lappeenranta has developed these travel packages and so on and so on. So we wanted to have some kind of space where we can show these materials, but in a way that like the common tourist from, say, Germany would be interested in having a look at them. So we wanted to make this as attractive as possible for the target groups. So travel agencies and tourists on the one hand, for the media, because the best you can get is free media coverage to make something so interesting, something so new and modern that people or media want to report on that. And as attractive as possible to further development, because that's one thing with these projects, that once they have ended, there are no resources anymore, and the development often, it's a bit difficult, which is understandable because you have certain resources in institutions, and that's what you have to play with. So make the project or this outcome, this model, as attractive as possible for further development was one aim. And now soon we'll have a look at how we're going to do it or how we've done it. Challenges. Well, obviously something like that has never been done before in Finland, so there were a lot of question marks. Another challenge was the schedule, because, well, the best ideas usually come in the end. So we had this idea shortly before summer. The first 4 or 6 weeks went into tendering. We had to think about the tender itself, conduct it, and then get the contracts done, wait until all these times, the due dates have been met, and so on. And another challenge was the season, because obviously if you want to have a summer model, you can't do it in November. So there were certain challenges with that huge project that we had in the end of this travel corridor project, but luckily, I have to say luckily, because we found a great partner to do it. It was Argo Lab Oy. It's a company from Imatra who's specializing in VR and AR techniques, and they've been really, really great help with this. They've been doing this project right away when we closed the contract, and they've been working really hard, and especially in the last days, we've been like late in the evening, we've been doing the last things, the last bug fixes, and it was ready on time. And I think, or in my opinion, the result is great. On the right side, you can see the borders of this VR model as included in the tender. Those of you who don't know Imatra, we have this state hotel, which is here. Can you see the cursor, by the way?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so here's this state hotel. Here are the Imatra Rapids. So this area covers pretty much the center, the city center of Imatra. And the next thing you will see is on this place. This is Inkeriaukio, next to the state hotel, and this is where the whole model starts. So welcome to Imatra3D.fi. This is where it starts. So every partner has its own info screen. During the project, I asked every partner to upload a video. And this video can be changed afterwards. It's not a problem. But like for now, these are the videos that have been provided. And the model works in a way that this is like, you can imagine a computer game where you can just move with your arrows. And the whole world is like, you can go everywhere you want. and I hope we can have a look at it later on. I don't know how smoothly it will work through stream, but if you're interested, of course, you can also go to imatra3d.fi right now. It's still a bit huge, so it takes a while to open, but it works on all desktop PCs and laptops. There are no mobile devices supported so far, but that's the thing we're talking about later with the development, make it attractive to develop it. So if you want, you can try to open it on your laptops and check it out yourself while I'm talking about it. Otherwise, we have these screenshots here that I took for you. And these screenshots I took on Monday because, yeah, we had to provide the materials. So that's not the final version yet, but it's pretty much so. So every city or every partner has its screen, and then they have 4 places for smaller pictures where they can add own links. So you can have 4 links. And every partner will get instructions and credentials by the end of the year on how to update these and keep it up to date. Is there anything else about that? I don't know. Let's move on. This is the pedestrian zone, and as you can see, there's not so many people yet. I'll talk about that later as well, but as you can see, it's a lot of details. Mikael, who is the contact man and CEO of Argo Lab Oy, they have taken over 30,000 photos in summer. So you can imagine what kind of job it was to create a model like that. It's not like a week's job. It's really huge, and the result is astonishing. I'm quite flabbergasted by the result. Of course, our clients are businesses, local businesses. So at some point we had to think, how can we justify that Kehu buys that kind of model to our stakeholders and our clients? So what you can see here is all the businesses in the city or the city center of Imatra, they have links. So in this basic version, these are just links. When you go near them, you can click on them and you get to the web shop. Or websites, whatever they have of these businesses. And then again, when talking about further development, now these businesses, if they want to in the future, they can buy their own shops as the 3D model. So, and we also had to think about how we're going to organize it. Do they buy it from us and we buy it from Argo or somebody else, or how do we do it? But we ended up pretty fast with that solution that we're only an intermediary. We don't take money for it. We just refer to the company who can help with it, which is Argo in this case, because we don't want to make money and we don't even want to convey the image of Kehu makes money with local businesses. That's not the thing that we want to do. So if some of these businesses want to add their own shop, they can do it, but they can do it or they negotiate about the price and the realization with Argo then. And we haven't even promoted this model, and there's already 2 entrepreneurs who contacted us and then Argo who want their shop to be modeled. This is one of them. So in the future, we'll probably see some kind of shops where you can really go inside and look at the products and maybe even buy stuff. There are integrations for web shop applications. And then we have these interactive showrooms. They can be done to make it look a bit better than, well, here you see it's just a photo, and these kind of showrooms, they move. Mikael has put some pictures there of products that, it looks better than just a photo of a showroom. So that's how we took the local businesses into account. Another thing is advertising. Of course, there will be the question, can I advertise something there? And we thought about, well, do we want these kind of advertising like billboards there? I think it's a bit, it's a bit problematic to take money for that as well. So what we thought of, I told you there's not so many people around there. It's like 20 avatars are part of this, what we ordered, of our order. So 20 people are strolling around in Imatra right now, which is not very much. And our idea was, well, those businesses, if they want to have some advertising space, they can order such a customized avatar. They're not very expensive, and they can do it in the same way like those shops. So they can contact Argo Lab Oy, and they can negotiate about the price and negotiate about what kind of avatar it is, because you have this basic avatar, then you have the possibility to have an avatar that looks really like you. This is not one of them. This is just a random face, but you can have it like with the photo of your face. You can have your own clothes. You can have your clothes in the brand colors of your company, like this Kehu. And then you even can have speech bubbles. You can have avatars that talk, and the price goes up, of course. But really, Mikhail is listening today, but I think he's not in the Teams. But you can find Argo Lab Oy's contact details. We're gonna have a press release later on this day where all these links will be, so you can get in touch if you're interested in having some kind of avatar, for example, there. And negotiate with him, and I think pretty much anything is possible as soon as I've been acting with them. So this is a way of getting more people there, because obviously those businesses want to be represented in the model, want to be a part of it, and I think we'll see a lot of interesting add-ons in the near future. Then there are also these kind of billboards where it says, do you want to be a part of this model? And you can click there, and then it takes you to Kehu. So for the time being, Kehu will be the one who's like the main contact, will assist with what is possible, what we can do, and we'll also try to get more add-ons. And of course find funding for it, but that's already next year. Then we have this is Koskintori, by the way, and we have another billboard here for culture. People, bands, local dancing groups, all kinds of that. We thought the COVID pandemic was very harsh to them as well. It's very, very difficult to find gigs or places where you can show something where there is allowed to be more than 50 or 10 people or whatever restriction is up to date right now. So this is a screen where those dancing groups and so on can put their own content, and also in a way that they can send it to us, and we will check a little if it's okay to put it there, if it's suitable to put it there. And of course it has to be royalty-free content, so there won't be any license fees or something. Actually, in the final version, or the version that is online right now, there's a CBC banner here as well, with the flags and this sentence. What else? Oh yes, Michael had this idea that we could have a band gig tomorrow, or I had the idea then to do it tomorrow, but he came up with the idea it would be great to have this Dark Red Brothers band in which I'm playing as a hologram. I was a bit skeptic because I don't like to mix up those, like my spare time activities with my job, but I thought it was a good idea to demonstrate what is possible. And it's also a good idea to have this like single release, because around Europe we've got around 20,000 followers through social media platforms, and if we tell them go there and go listen to our new song there, this is the place where it's going to be. Well, of course that means that all these people come and see the travel corridor and all the partners first. It's where it starts is the Inkari Aukio. So in order to find that stage, they have to stroll around a little. So I think it's a good means to get more people to get acquainted with the model. And also we have this Google Analytics add-on on this page, so we know quite well who's visiting that page, and we have these statistics. So this is going to be tomorrow, and there's going to be the press release about that as well. Yeah, these are the travel packages. There are 3 of them right now, and that's the same idea. You go near it, and then the link appears. You can click on it if you're interested. Of course, they can be updated as well. They're next to this state hotel. Yeah, about the near future. So in the next days, we're still going to do some bug fixing. There may be some minor issues, some language versions that are not quite correct. Jani is going to go through these at the latest next week. The schedule here with the press release changed a little. We're going to send the press release today. Tomorrow there'll be that single release, and then we have this separate Christmas action with Kehu. So Kehu will buy 20 avatars from their own money. So this is not part of the project anymore. Kehu wants to give them as a Christmas present to their clients, and if you want to do something like that as well, we can do it. Realize it will work in a way that there's somewhere in the model there will be a present, like a small green present. We'll send out a press release. You can now go look for it. When you open that present, you get a code, and by sending that code to Kehu, you get your avatar in your company colors with your company logo. So that's also kind of some kind of action to get more people visit the model. But then maybe the most important action this year is an online marketing campaign, which we came up with this idea last week. It's like the best ideas in the end. And we talked to Susanna, and Susanna talked to Sonia about it, if we can allocate a few funds that were still left to do this online marketing campaign, and we've received green light for that. So right now our communications assistant is talking with this Sanoma about what is possible to do in that week. We thought before Christmas it's not very good to market it, because there's a lot of competition right now with all the people marketing their Christmas offers. But then after Christmas, people are at home, they're chilling, they're maybe scrolling, they have time, and I think that's a good point of time to target those potential tourists. And also, unfortunately, we don't have this mobile support yet, so we'll target it to people browsing on desktop PCs and laptops for the time being. That's about the near future. And then I talked to you about this making it attractive for further development. So some development ideas we have is, well, obviously more people. It's quite empty still in Imatra, although it's a quite nice summer day. A mobile version, which is very, very important. And I think people won't like the idea that you have to use a laptop, but we're going to work on that as soon as we have found somebody who's going to be a part of the development, so to speak. So night mode would be quite interesting. 4 seasons mode, so you can change between the winter, spring, summer, and autumn. Mikhail said it would be quite nice to have like an historic view, so maybe Imatra 100 years ago, with old pictures. That's quite easy to realize, or I don't know how easy it is. I don't speak that code, but it's possible. Support for VR devices, so you can look at this model with your VR goggles. And AR editions, so Michael's company specializes on augmented reality as well. So that means you can go on this, say, Inkari Aukio, And when you take your mobile device and look through it, you can see all these screens, for example. You can see like the podcast and whatever has been added in that 3D world as well. So these are things that are possible, for example. And then also in the long run, well, this is the way of collaboration, keeping in touch, because obviously we'll have to do collaboration in order to keep this model up to date. And maybe there's a way of collaborating on these development ideas as well, because it's always easier to order such a big add-on like the mobile version when there's 6 compared to when there's only 1 partner. Also, of course, why not extend this model to the other partner cities? So why not have Savonlinna city center in the same way? I mean, then maybe you walk this Vuoksi bridge, walk there, and now it just says, well, unfortunately the model ends here. But what happens? Right now the model ends right there, but maybe it says, well, click here and you get to Savonlinna. Click here and you go to St. Petersburg. We hope that this is a way of attracting tourists to the region, just because it's so attractive, so interesting, and appealing, especially to young people who are very firm with moving in these environments. Maybe this even leads to a new project. So that was it from my side. I'm open for questions. And if you're still there, then I can try to share this. Where is it? Share the model itself. Hang on. Okay. Now you should see this, our podcast. Do you see it?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So in case you speak Finnish, please go and listen to these fantastic stories. They've been published today, and we've managed to get very interesting people to these interviews, into these podcast episodes. Savonlinna will be added next week because there was this interview was rescheduled, but otherwise there's all these things here. And now we'll go there, and you see it takes a while because the way it works, it downloads the whole model. At least that's the way I understood it. It downloads the whole content to your machine, and then it opens it from there. So it takes a while, and I think we could also add a small notification here that stay calm, something is happening, it's not frozen. But once it's downloaded, it starts and it looks very well. So this is the main menu. We can change the language here. We got the logos here. Once you click Aloita, it starts. Obviously, it's a bit slow now because of the stream. But the idea is that you move with your arrows, and then with the mouse or with the touchpad, you can tell the direction. It's probably easier if you have a laptop there to try it on your own. So it's imatra3d.fi. think the experience will be a little better than through screen. You can really move seamlessly. And the way we see it is like travel corridor. And if we communicate to our clients, Kehu, we provided the space, we provided the environment, but now it's up to everybody else as well to make it more interesting, to get more content here. I could really see bigger institutions such as banks or maybe, let's say, newspapers or something, that they want to be a part of it and have their own, not only avatars, but like trucks or whatever is possible, like that this place will grow. And also our cultural institutions will make use of it. Another thing that popped up to our minds is, I don't even know what kartoitus is in kaavoitus is in English. Does anybody know?
Zoning. Isn't it zoning?
Zoning, okay. So if there's going to be a new building, for example, there's going to be a new building in Imatra in the city center, well, they can order this building and use it for this for visualization, and then you can have a look and press a button and see how it actually looks like once it's ready. There's a lot of possibilities to use this model, and at the same time, it's still, well, there's all the time, there's the screens and the partners, they're all the time existent there. It's the first that everybody sees when they enter this world. So it's just good if there's other institutions that want to be a part of it and help develop it. And still the focus is, and the core is, travel corridor and the concept. I think this is going to be something that outlives the project as it's the project itself. Yes. But that's from my side. I really suggest you have a look at it yourself, because it's much more interesting than looking at it from a screen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sven. It was very interesting to see how it looks like, and especially now when it's so dark and it's wet sometimes outside, so the sunny view is always uplifting. I see that Mirka Rahman has raised her hand, so Mirka, go ahead if you have a question or a comment.
Yes, hi everyone. Thank you, Sven, for the presentation. It was very interesting to see this. I was wondering how wide area do you have it there? We were quite in the center of Imatra, so is there, like, how much is there and what are the touristic attractions there? And was it easy to bring them in a model like this?
Hang on. It's I had this
and I'm sorry if you have talked about it before. I'm sorry, I was able to join after our Corona.
No problem.
During meeting of, I'm sorry, it's a little late. Okay.
This is the map, the area. There we go. So this is the area that was included in the tender. Actually, we asked our Imiti, which is the development company for the city center, what in their view would be a good area. What would be
yes.
Somewhere you have to draw the line, and of course somebody will be sad that, well, the border is just here and they're there, but Here we have the main attractions that you talked about. We have the State Hotel. We have this Vuoksi. You can watch at this at the rapids there.
Oh, you can see the waterfall running. Can you?
Yes, it is. It is running all the time, and it doesn't cost a thing.
5,000 a shot, what I heard, if you order it or something like that, if it's not scheduled. Okay, great.
Well, yes, in the real world, yes.
Yeah.
Then you have McDonald's here, which is the other end. And
attractions.
Well, and this Koskenparas, the pedestrian zone, and Koskintori. This is the city center of Imatra, which includes the main attractions at Imatrakoski.
Okay, very nice. Thank you so much. And I understand Imatra is challenging with your very widespread city.
Yes. And again, we're talking about this development. Let's see whether in the future there's the possibility to include other attractions then by clicking on. Well, you don't have to model the all the way until, let's say,
Rauha-Ukoniemi, maybe another area there or something like. Then you just hop on from one place to another. Things you should see. Yeah.
Or maybe to Lappeenranta.
That's right. Yeah, it's very interesting. In my previous life, I used to work with these 3D models and where we would walk inside the buildings and walk inside the areas. This is obviously we just outside in this one. And Lappeenranta, we've been just mainly doing them nowadays with like a big project itself, not so wide area of the whole city. So this is quite interesting.
Right. Welcome to Imatra.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think nowadays when the traveling is again going to be a little bit more restricted, so this is a good way to bring tourists online into our area as well and have a glimpse, and also to include all our partners areas into this same model. So thank you very much. We look forward to see how it's going to look like then in the future, where you're going to get still more content. And yes, please everybody have a look at the model. Do we have any comments from YouTube or any other comments from Teams audience here? No. So thank you very much, Sven.
Thank you.
And then actually from Imatra, we will now continue to Lappeenranta. And Mirka, you can actually stay now online, stay on the stage. So Mirka Rahman, she is the Director of Tourism of the city of Lappeenranta. She will tell us about the destination manual and travel packages that Lappeenranta has created in this project. Travel packages are now already on sale in international markets, and we are now waiting for the border between the European Union and Russia to open again, but hopefully then sometime during 2022 we will be again able to travel. But Mirka, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Susanna, and hello to everyone. Nice to join you in this seminar now then from Lappeenranta. Unfortunately, I was not able to come to Savonlinna itself. And as Susanna pointed out there, these packages have been created. We're waiting for the better future, but it's a quite challenging situation where we have been living and working with this project as well throughout the time. From Lappeenranta's part, then I continue to explain you what we were doing. We were working with the destination manual and the travel packages in this project. To start with, we both have the same challenge in this region, Finland side as well as Russia, St. Petersburg, Leningrad side. We are very summer-focused destination, and the aim of this project, first of all, was to create more interest towards the area of the tour operators, not only Europe, but in the beginning also we were looking at wider markets and the Asia as well, but really looking to extend the seasonality. Lengthen the season to the spring and the autumn as well as the winter. So we were both hoping to add inflow of that. We already have a very good cooperation in the area with the Lake Saimaa. We have a foundation where we are together with Lappeenranta, Imatra, Savonlinna, Mikkeli, and Varkaus is also in it. Varkaus was not in this travel corridor project, but then we have been continuously cooperating with the city of Viborg and the city of St. Petersburg and the whole Leningrad Oblast in developing the tourism. And it's already normal in our region to have this unique selling point of being located very close to the EU and the Russian border, have the passageway through Saimaa Canal to Viborg and on to St. Petersburg. In our cooperation with Lake Saimaa already, it has been very important to create these round trips. These have become very popular already in Finland as well as in other markets. People like to go around the different cities, see different sites, and not to stay in one place, but to create different type of route examples, what to see. Obviously, in our area, what is the focus is the history. Our region being located close to the border, there's a lot of history from the Russian side, the Swedish side. We have the most northern medieval castle found in Olavinlinna. We have Fortress of Lappeenranta. There's the Saimaa Canal. The whole tourism of Finland has started in this region, in the Imatra Rapids, and then we have the manor houses in Mikkeli. And obviously, then when we already been marketing this, the extension of the Viborg and especially then the St. Petersburg is better known in the world. So that has been always in there. Now it was we were very happy to continue with this project and put this better together to help more tour operators to create packages to this shared region. We did a tender where we had A part doing the destination manual and B part doing these tour packages, what Lappeenranta tendered. The tender was won by Saimaa Travel, a Nordic Marketing, Fin Touring and Void Travel that I talk about a little bit more in a moment about the packages. In the destination manual, the aim of this project was also to create the logistics information. Obviously, when we talk about two different countries, there is a lot of variabilities, how you can travel, how you are allowed to travel, and the visa regime, which is complicated as it is in the normal time. It is more complicated in the corona times than that we lived through this project. But we did a very extensive work together with Nordic Marketing, then who was part of this tender with Saimaa Travel, who won the bid. And obviously, in this was very special tendering case. There was only one person who replied even to this A part, making the destination manual, and they have very good expertise already managing the tourism flows to Finland and the Nordic countries all together to do this work. The destination manual itself, it was aimed to professionals. It's a B2B product. We have created some brochures in this project as well, but this destination manual was B2B in mind. It is done online. It can be found on the Lake Saimaa website. And this is a tool that will help not only in the project right now, but also after this project now ends. And at least from Lappeenranta side, this has been very useful. Finally, we have a package where there's very extensive information, first of all, of our region, all the cities on the Finland side, as well as then St. Petersburg and Leningrad. What is there to do? There are already round-trip examples, what to see in Lappeenranta, what to see in Imatra, highlighting the things from Mikkeli, Savonlinna, and as well as then the main attractions of Leningrad Oblast and St. Petersburg. All the activities, all the activity providers are listed there as well, service providers, all the DMCs are listed there, the tourist infos are listed in there, accommodation options are listed there. So that gives you a glimpse of the whole area, nicely introduced what is on the offer on the Finland side as well as on the Russian side. And very importantly, it has a big section on the logistics, for border modalities, what is required to travel, how you can travel, what type of visas, who can help you in what. It puts everything on a map and how you can cross when. Obviously, this is a challenging time right now. There are changes happening, and we, of course, hope that the e-visas and all this will continue and come, but this is an online. This was never, it's so extensive information package that it was never intended to be printed. So when it is on online, we can update the information in it and continue to utilize this after this project itself is over. What we hope that this manual will inspire further and other tour operators in Finland or also in Europe to create more packages than the ones that we have been able to create during this project itself in this challenging time period right now. And I've already have had many discussions with some tour operators to whom this has been very helpful itself for them to start planning the work. And there are many companies we have successfully created more interest in this combination product. Obviously, it is challenging now and nobody can be sure what happens in 1922, but there's a lot of companies planning and thinking 23 and beyond, and this is very helpful for them. So we wish to continue updating this and continue to use it in the future as well. What we found when we were doing this work and gathering the information for the manual, as well as then doing the workshops with the different parties involved, our partners, both in Finland side and the Russian side, as well as the local companies in here and the tour operators, it became clear that the two operators, especially in this challenging time at least, they seem to need the Finnish partner to manage the Finland-Russia travel for their customers. There was a lot of changes right now in the tour operators and the partnerships and the companies on the Russian side, and even the companies right now operating in Finland, they are already refinding then the connections over there, because market has shifted and everybody has been focused very much on the domestic work in the moment and selling the destinations that they can. So it's very challenging for us to do this type of work when the border is closed, but we've been successful doing it. But anyway, what became clear that it's both all the European tour operators we discussed, as well as then the connections we got with the American tour operators or Heli Mende, who was representing the USA market and visiting us. It was very clear that there is a need for the local assistance, and they see when combining these two country products, it is easier to map it and manage it so that the groups come to Finland and they visit to Russia and return the same way through Finland. It's more cost effective and it's cheaper and it's more manageable. They felt it the safest option at this time and day. This may change, of course. We hope to change it, and we were hoping to create packages where you could come to Finland and then leave from the Russian side. Of course, this at this time and day, it's not possible and it's not cost effective either. But this is maybe something there will be, we believe, many more variation and possibilities coming in the future. As I already mentioned, we have the normal interesting connection. Saimaa Canal connects Lake Saimaa and St. Petersburg and Leningrad Oblast already. Lappeenranta is known, and one of the really main big products in here are the visa-free cruises to Viborg, Russia, and continuing to St. Petersburg. Saimaa Travel has been in operation since 1996 in Lappeenranta, doing these tours from around mid-May until the end of September, until the September. And what was good in a project like this, what more we could bring the foreign clientele to these tours, we can lengthen the season at more service times until the end of September. This is the aim as well. And they already have a very good expertise in arranging this cross-border traffic, and they also arrange the visas, and they of course use the Allegro in the winter time. So they became the main partner. They won the bid in this project, and really their customers are very widely from around the world today. There's around 50 nationalities represented, and they move tens of thousands of customers in normal times. They partnered with Avoid Travel from the Netherlands and Fintouring Germany. These are established, very known tour operators who already work. Fintouring has really specialized in the Finnish market. They are in operation since 1973, and they already know our area as well, very well. From the Netherlands, the Void Travel, they have been in business since 1950, so they are also very well established tour operator, and they've been serving the whole Nordics, and they want to grow more in Finland, and they've been particularly interested. They already have done some packages into our area. So instead of only getting one, we got only the one good bid we got was this combination of Saimaa Travel working with Void Travel and Fintouring with us. So how we went on, we had workshops. All these tour operators got the manual, destination manual that we had created together with the Nordic Marketing, who was the coordinating partner working closely together in the bid with Saimaa Travel. So they got the destination manual. They were able to go everything. We all presented what we have, what is on offer, and then they had the freedom to choose the companies they want to work with, because we didn't only want to create some sample packages. You could do this or you could do that, but instead create something real, something that will be on sale. And the demand was that they have to create package that is at least 2 nights on the Finland side and 2 nights on the Russian side, but they can freely choose where they're going to spend the overnights, what services they're going to use. And then the companies had the freedom to do the creation of the packages themselves, but we wanted real packages that are on sale. So there are packages put on sale by the end of September this autumn. Saimaa Travel has done 5-day packages, Saimaa Canal visa-free cruise to St. Petersburg. It seemed that in this time with us struggling to get over the corona, they all felt the most comfortable and the best way to proceed was to use this connection of the visa free, because that is something that's for sure and established already. But also then Saimaa Travel created a new winter package for us. There is 8 days, there is 5 days, or then 8 days and 5 plus 3 days packages where you basically are touring around the Lake Saimaa region. You are seeing the highlights, the fortress of Lappeenranta, you see in the Crown Park of Imatra, and the rapids you see in the Punkaharju, you see in the Savonlinna Olavinlinna Castle, you see in the manor houses Muisti, the War History Museum in Mikkeli, and then you continue into Russia, and then you see in the Hermitage there and the main attractions of the Russia. All these packages, the tour operators, they are used to not wanting to make them too expensive. They're giving the packages at a certain standard sites and the overnights around the regions and the Russian side, but then you can buy more services. There is a lot of potential add-ons, different kinds of activities you can do and choose. There is a listing of them for all these packages. So these are on sale right now. They are both for the summer or the winter, and these are in a way samples for them, and Saimaa Travel is able to work. They work with feed and single customers. They are able to create more different kinds of options based on the demand, what starts growing then. Touring, they have a package on sale through Saimaa Canal to St. Petersburg. It's on sale on their website in German language. We hope that we are able to do this. At this time, for the Russia connection, they have only this one package ready. They are working with further packages, and there's another culinary package coming up that we are very happy about. But all these tour operators have been extremely busy right now selling the winter season, which is created a lot of interest at the moment. So they have a 4 nights accommodation in this trip, what they have done, and they felt the most comfortable at this time to use that Saimaa Travels visa-free cruise connection. And the availability, this unfortunately, this doesn't really extend the season so greatly for us, but anyway, it's good that it's on sale until the end of August, as the Finnish customers tend to stop their travels in a great detail in the mid-August. So they have this package on sale right now. And Voi Travel has also at this point created one package. It's on sale where they are using a very interesting combination of you taking they expect people can travel with their own car, and they're using the Finland's ferry connection. Finland Ferry brings a lot of German as other Europeans to Finland, and they have really done a long project with this, a long trip around Lake Saimaa region. They're also showing the Helsinki in it. They expect people to come that way, and then they chose Sahalahti as their special destination part in this trip. And they really highlighting the nature combination and the culture of Russia, what we were expecting to be the main highlights of it. Then from the Russian side, they are using the evening river cruise in St. Petersburg, offering that as well. And then the trendy Helsinki is in there. Their availability is until September, which is very good. Now, of course, as said in the beginning, we all wait to see what will happen. Can we travel in 22 at these times? They are sale. We're hoping for the best. So, but what was mainly most interesting, but what's the best part is maybe it was challenging to get this all started, but this is a good beginning. Both of these tour operators, or all of these tour operators, for one, Saimaa Travel, who is already established in the region, is very interested to create more packages. Suvi Laine sends her greetings to everyone here involved. They want to and continue to create more and modify the packages what are on sale right now. Voi Travel as well as Touring are working on more packages, and they want to continue the cooperation that was started. They all understand the challenges. We all share the same challenges what we had now, but we have started a good cooperation. They know very well what we have now, and they're interested to hear what new is coming up. And we are in constant communication, and Voi Travel is very interested in growing with charter flights nowadays in southern Finland. So that's another discussion also going on. So that's from my part. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'll be happy to discuss this further with you if you have some questions.
Thank you, Mirka, for your presentation and giving us examples of the tour packages. So I think they are a very good example of the concrete outputs of this project, that now there is really something that we can sell from this area to the foreign travel groups. Have you got, by the way, any information or maybe comments from the possible clients from Central Europe to whom these packages are then aimed at? Have you talked with the tour operators if they have received any comments?
Unfortunately, I don't have anything to say on that. It's really what I guess this is what the situation is in the world right now. Everybody is focusing on the immediate travel. We are afraid, unfortunately, to start ordering something for the next summer. So they've been very busy selling the winter, their hands on that. But they are excited themselves. And what I mentioned about the Void and also the Fintouring, they are creating more packages. So there seems to be an interest because they have a desire to create more of them. And they already, as I said, Void is now considering charter operations to Finland. So they're not telling us everything.
Yeah, but I think that we can maybe look forward for the future in a positive attitude. So I think that we are going to welcome here in the close future, if the pandemic situation allows, even more tourists and visitors from Central Europe. And I think that the German-speaking countries especially are one of the main target groups that are interested, for example, in pure nature and also in this combination of Russia and Finland on the same trip.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, Mirka. And our next speaker is from Mikkeli, so we stay here in Lake Saimaa area. And I will give now the floor to our colleagues in Mikkeli. And Maisa Häkkinen, the Director of Tourism of Mikkeli, will give us now an introduction into the tourism cooperation that is being done here in Lake Saimaa area. So Maisa, it's nice to see you and you are welcome. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Susanna, so much. And want to say hi to everybody and very nice to see you. It would be, of course, much nicer to see you face to face, but this is the life that we are living now, and this is better than nothing, isn't it? And yes, thank you. I'm very glad to speak about this cooperation because I'm very glad of this project in that point of view. I'm very glad that we got to know each other. Of course, here in Finland side, in Lake Saimaa side, we know each other. But in this project, it has been even our cooperation in this Finnish side also even deeper than it has been. And of course, the greatest part has been that we have started the cooperation with the Russian side and Russian colleagues. And I want to thank you all for this cooperation and also the great work that you all have done. And clearly, we all have had a same target. We all want to promote these beautiful two regions, two different kind of regions, which are unique. And together we have made something new. Of course, these regions has been here ever since, but to bring them together and promote and make packages together and have the tour operators and media to get interested in this combination. That is something new that hasn't been done in this level before. So we have done a great job together, and I want to thank you a lot about this project. And if we have my presentation, and I want to point out about the work that we have been doing together. Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay. So, of course, we all know this, but this is something so extreme and unique travel destination that we have here together, and this combination that we have been promoting to the different markets and travel agencies is really a unique one in the whole world. And the uniqueness of Lake Saimaa with beautiful nature and clear nature water and local food and all the forests and everything, and combined with the beautiful unique city of St. Petersburg and Leningrad Oblast is something so special that no one has this kind of a combination in the world. And we also have to remember to tell everybody that we are so close together. And the work that we have been doing in a very, very difficult situation with a pandemic, I think that we have managed very well. Of course, we hope in the future that we have possibilities to continue this work closely, because we have just started, and after this project, it's very important that we go on, even though we don't have this kind of a travel corridor project. But I'm sure that we all are involved to this cooperation, and we want to promote this region together. And just an example to show you how we have promoted and how we will promote this beautiful region in the future. This is the product example that we have made for US market, and it's just to remind us also that how unique experience we have. We have made this luxury package to US market, and there has been a great interest for this package already. And of course, when they come far away, they want to come by Helsinki to this package, but then even the day 2, they come to the Lake Saimaa. And this is the luxury package, so we have combined here the luxury accommodation and steamships and Savonlinna Opera Festival in this site, and the trip goes on to the beautiful Punkaharju and Hotel Punkaharju, where we had a possibility to meet in the beginning of our project with all the forests and mushrooms and local excellent food. And Saimi Hoyer, who is the hostess of this beautiful hotel, which is the first hotel in Finland and still going on. So these unique, beautiful, small places in the middle of nature is the uniqueness of Lake Saimaa part. And then the trip goes on to Lappeenranta with the beautiful sights in the harbor and all the unique local experiences. And then you can go on the ship, and you can see the beautiful statues made of sand in the harbor. And then we go to the St. Petersburg site, and all these so unique, so beautiful sites that you have there in the Russian sites. And we have to say that we are missing you and St. Petersburg so much, and we want to thank you also for your hospitality when we had a possibility to visit St. Petersburg and Leningrad region in the beginning of the project before the corona pandemic. So there is so many places to see, and we had, of course, difficulties to choose which ones to pick up. But of course, these are just examples, and tour operators and customers make the final decisions. But this is just an example of that how unique, beautiful combination we have made. And now I hope that we go on with the cooperation, because the work for promoting these products is just in the beginning. So thank you all for your friendship and your cooperation, and hope that we make plans very soon to go on with our cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you, Maisa. It was interesting to hear this news, and especially that there might be new target markets for our area also in the United States. So I think that these travel packages, which you showed us, are a very good example of the concrete outputs, how new target audiences have been reached or will be reached thanks to this project. Does anyone have any questions at this point in YouTube or here in Savonlinna? Any comments? Okay, I guess not. So we are now very well on time, and we had planned to have a lunch break at 12 o'clock. But I think that we can start already the break now and have it a little bit longer. So we are going to have the break until 1 o'clock Finnish time. And we will then continue with the next presentations. So, and if you have any questions in the meanwhile, you can of course send questions and comments, and we will see you then in 1 hour and 15 minutes back online. Thank you for joining already this part, and see you then in the afternoon.
So, welcome back. I hope that you had a great lunch, and we are now continuing with the afternoon program of the end seminar of St. Petersburg Saimaa Lakeland Travel Corridor project. And I have here today the honor to present our next speaker, Mayor of Savonlinna, Mr. Janne Laine. So he is here to welcome you also to this end seminar.
Okay, thank you, Susanna. I would like to very warmly welcome you to this seminar. You have had, I think, very interesting morning already, and now having this seminar. Dear our friends from St. Petersburg, Leningrad Oblast, and our neighbor cities from the South-East Finland area. And this corridor project has been very interesting and very good. Of course, now our environment, because we have this coronavirus, has made a little bit, I think, challenges and changes of the project to implement it. But in my opinion, it's very important. It's strategically very important, especially for the South-East Finland area, to have this corridor and cooperation with our very great metropole of the world, the most beautiful, the most great cultural capital and architectural adventures which you can find from St. Petersburg. Of course, also Ladoga, Viborg, and Priozersk, and all the other partners there, which can combine the area between the Saimaa Lakeland, which is very great, very beautiful, very pure natural area, very richful nature, very calm, peaceful, and then St. Petersburg and Leningrad Oblast area. So I think together, when we combine these areas, we are much more stronger, attractive when you are coming from the third countries to this area. So you can combine. And this project's target is to make it more easier logistically. Of course, first marketing to find it, and then have very interesting tourist packages, and then logistical routes, making it very easy to go around of the South-East Finland area and St. Petersburg, Leningrad Oblast. And the main objective for both partner areas from Russia and from Finland is to have more and more tourists and more and more international tourists from the third countries. And I think when now I hope the corona will go away, so after some times, so we can again start the promotion work and the marketing work, especially to Western European countries. For example, in Savonlinna, we are going to open a new charter flight connection from South Germany to Savonlinna. And when I was also taking part of the negotiations with the tourist company, which is going to open the charter flight, they were very interesting to open also via Parikkala cross-border point, the connection to Ladoga, to Priosersk, Viborg and St. Petersburg to see the Russia, because of course in Western Europe it's very exotic to go the same trip when you come to Finland, to South-East, to Saimaa Lakeland area, to go to see Ladoga, Priosersk, Viborg, St. Petersburg. It's a very, very, very richful tourist trip. So I hope that in the future we can also continue this project, perhaps put more effort and more resources to marketing and promoting this very specific and very attractive area to the tourists who comes from the third countries. And I'm very thankful for our sister cities in Finnish side, and then Leningrad Oblast and St. Petersburg. We are very thankful. The cooperation has been very, very good under of even the very how I say challenging circumstances with living together with the corona in these almost 2 years now. So I hope we can continue good cooperation, and of course I would like very warmly to wish you Merry good Christmas and Happy New Year. I know that in Russia you have 7th of January your great Christmas. We have a little bit more before it here in Finland, but Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and thank you very much for your cooperation. Thank you.
Next speaker will be here also online on site in Savonlinna. So I am very happy to introduce our next guest, Ms. Amira Amirova from Leningrad region. So she is attending the meeting here, and she works as a coordinator of CBC project in Tourist Information Center of Leningrad region. So Amira, the floor is yours. There you go. You can have the mic, and I will let you take my place here by the computer.
Okay, thank you so much. Is it okay with the sound? Well, dear participants of the final webinar, glad to see that you watch our event online. I represent Tourist Information Center of Leningrad region, and my aim today is to speak about the achievements of Leningrad region in this project. I think that all our team made a very good job, not only the team of Leningrad region Tourist Information Center, but our joint team from 2 countries. It was not very easy to do that in this corona time, but still we are prepared for the tourists from abroad. And the main thing is that we made this interest for the foreigners, and they were, I would say that some countries were already prepared for the trips for 2 or 3 countries coming to St. Petersburg. For example, Chinese tourists that were the target group from the beginning of this project. It was the idea was that the tourists from Asia will come, but as soon as the corona started, we decided altogether to change the target group to Western Europeans, and now we see the interest from all types of foreigners: America, Israel, Lebanon, Germany, Netherlands, etc., etc., etc. So now I will just give some ideas of what we are working with. So the target group, as we already said, is the Western Europeans that could come to our routes, starting from St. Petersburg, Lappeenranta or Helsinki. On that map that you see on the screen is the territory of the project, that the people who had never been to Finland or Russia could easily understand where we are located and how the border looks like, etc., etc. And in these trips, they can combine all the possible interests that tourists usually have. So they can see the culture and history, they can just have the relax somewhere. What we can offer. Leningrad region is quite a big area. It looks like the butterfly if you just look at the previous map. And we promoting these trips from St. Petersburg to South-East Finland or vice versa, we usually take only one small part of Leningrad region because tourists usually come for not so many years, not so many days. That's why they cannot see all the region. But now we will speak about that small part of Karelian Isthmus, and there you can find a lot of places for active relax. There are eco trails, natural reserves, different resorts like, it's not gold resorts, it's golf resorts anyway, recreation centers, and of course the city of Viborg, where you can find the ancient history and a lot of interesting places, remembering where it was the territory of Sweden, Finland, and Russia. We also have Vsevolozhsky district in this project. It is the district that is closer than any others to St. Petersburg from that side, from the northern side. And there we have Ohta Park, the ski resort, then the Mill Creek, it's the golf resort, and Zubrovnik is the place where those interesting animals are located, and people come and feed them and just visit with them with children, etc., etc. And the mostly known, I would say, town in Leningrad region is Viborg. It's famous for its castle that you see on the photo, and there are too many objects to visit and see and enjoy. So here is the small list of these objects. This is Viborg Castle in the city of Viborg, Alvara Alta Library. The famous Finnish architect made this library, and it's renovated. Then the Monrepo. Wait a second. The nature park. Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the nature park of Monrepo, also in the city of Viborg. Then Hermitage Viborg Exhibition Hall. So we do not have only the Hermitage in St. Petersburg, but also in Viborg. And a lot of many other old buildings, including the places of interest such as Farm of Joy, for example, where one family lives with their kids, and they show how to dance traditional dances. They give their local food, and you can spend all the day there and just be entertained with them. You cannot even sit for a minute because they will come and just ask you to do something with them. We also made the video. It is the virtual fam trip video because we could not invite our guests and the partners and the tour operators from abroad at that time. But still, this virtual fam trip was made, and I hope that we will try to see this small teaser. For that, the full version can be seen also. We will just inform you later and send the information where you can see it. In the frame of this project, we also decided not to make the usual, wood information boards, but our Committee of Culture and Tourism offered to have the sensor information boards where the information can be updated in comparison with the wooden things, and they will stand in the information centers of Viborg in Viborg, and Information Center of Tourist Information Centers in St. Petersburg in our office. We also made the training for guides. That was also a unique experience, that we made the training for the guides for 2 countries. So we told them not only about Russian side, but also about Finland. They got the official certificates. It's not, just the training just for talking. They are licensed now. We also made a presentation for the tour operators. Mostly these tour operators are from St. Petersburg anyway. They are mostly located in St. Petersburg. We gathered all of them first for the presentation of the project, and then made the networking session where it was discussed what type of trips can be interesting for the foreign clients, for the foreign tourists, and all the participants shared their experiences. Then we had, like a very, very short brainstorming, just writing down the pluses and minuses for this, for the trips, in the aspect that it's not only the trips for the warm season, for the high season, it's for the low season. And it's, for example, those small things like the short daylight during the off-season can be mentioned and should be taken into account. So all these notes were written down, and after that we decided that the tour operators would give their ideas and make some packages. So now we are just looking at those packages, and we will decide by the next week which packages would be added to the packages that Lappeenranta made with their partners and by that tender. So then we will have not only the view from the European tour operators, but the view as Russian tour operators see these packages. As it was already mentioned also, we made the publication in National Geographic Traveler in Netherlands. And the booklets for Travel Corridor are printed, and they are in the office of Tourist Information Center in St. Petersburg at the moment. It's possible just to order them or just come and take them if you are in Russia. Unfortunately, I could not take them with me because, first of all, they are too heavy. Second thing is that I came earlier than they were printed. So this is also one of the achievements. And we also took part in the digital international fairs and one normal fair. Maybe I just moved too quickly. First it was Leisure in Moscow this September, and we had the stand of Leningrad region where we promoted all the projects that we worked with. We made a competition, and some people got some prizes. Hopefully they will be able to use them next year, because there were some very nice prizes from Finnish side as well, not only from Leningrad region and St. Petersburg. And then there were some online fairs like ITB Asia and ITB Berlin. And I also got a very big interest from the Asian companies asking for coming to St. Petersburg and then to fly or go by train to Finland. And they still send me messages and ask questions how to do that. So I think that they are just waiting for the permissions for crossing the border just to make these packages true. So that's all, actually. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to reply. Or you can contact me by the email that you see on the screen. If there are no questions, then I will just pass the mic again to Susanna.
So thank you very much, Amira, for your good work. As we see, you have done a lot of actions for the visibility, also in the international Asian market. So it was very nice to see all the achievements that you have done. And now I will show you the video. I will try to show it also you on Teams. A video that was made by the Leningrad region. So I will see if I can share it to you.
The Leningrad region is the nearest Russian region to the EU. bordering Finland and Estonia. This region, embracing the city of St. Petersburg, is rich in historical, cultural, and natural sites. Besides, it boasts a wide range of hotels and countryside recreation facilities to get away from the noisy city life. We are heading off towards the Finnish border from St. Petersburg to Viborg, taking in some interesting spots along the way.
Its territory is quite large, so we will use a vehicle to observe it. Everything is surprisingly harmonious in this place. The host's cuisine is complemented by the magnificent natural views. Ooh, it's too hot in here. And right now we're going to see unique monorail park. Just look at the citadel that stands here for more than 700 years. The Town Hall Square, the oldest square in Viborg. There is another symbol of the city, and right now we'll be able to hear it. Just as I expected. Another symbol of Viborg, pretzel. You can spend time with a tasty meal, share your impressions with friends, and plan new travel routes. And I wish you safe travels.
Before we continue to our next speaker of today, so I would like to ask Amira, did you get any feedback from the training of the guides?
It was mostly the fact that they are ready now to accept all the tourists from all over the world, and they know what type of what terms they could use when discussing and explaining things about Russia and Finland, and they know a lot more than before about the common history and different things about the mentality, the interest, the architecture. So that's something, and they said a very big thank you to the project that they got this possibility to have this free learning, and not just the learning but to get the official certificates. So now we have a big list of certified guides.
Okay, that's great to hear, and I'm also glad that those who have participated in the training found it useful, so I'm glad to hear that. And I also look forward to visit the other districts in your area. I have been previously in Viborg many times, but I don't know the area in the other parts so well, so I look forward to the time when we can travel again.
Let's hope to do that very soon.
Yes. So, as you know from the earlier presentations, one of the achievements done in the project have been fam trips, and our partner in Mikkeli arranged totally 4 fam trips into the region, including all the partner cities both sides of the border. But unfortunately, the pandemic, as we all know it, caused big troubles for implementation and even forced to cancel the first farm trip that was planned. But last summer, luckily, the situation got much better, and Mikkeli partner managed to complete altogether 3 trips for tour operators and also 1 for the head of the Visit Finland North America. But because the Russian border still remained closed, there wasn't an option to actually visit St. Petersburg and Leningrad region. So instead, the virtual fam trip was arranged for the group. when they were nearest to the border in Lappeenranta. But last but not least, the corridor project took part in a big press event organized in Milan this November. There were altogether more than 40 journalists present, and lots of interest for the combination of Lake Saimaa and St. Petersburg and Leningrad region was then noticed by them. Mr. Marco Aker-Marinelli from MAM Press had a great presentation in Italy, and 1 week later he traveled to Finland, to Lake Saimaa area region with 8 of these journalists. And now we will hear Mr. Aker-Marinelli's thoughts about how the travel corridor attracts Italian media. Mr. Marco Aker-Marinelli, welcome. The stage is yours.
Hello everyone. A great ciao to all the participants to this Corridor Project Closes seminar. Yes, as Susanna told you, we started promoting, let's say, the travel corridor a couple of weeks ago as a part of collaboration for promotion of Lake Saimaa region in Italy with trade and media activities. Yes, the first event was, I can change the, the first event was realized on 15 November with a media presentation in Milan to more than 40 media representatives. And it's very important to say that we started from zero. The travel corridor was presented for the very first time to Italian media in this occasion. No one of them was informed about the project. No one was informed that there was the possibility to travel to St. Petersburg from Finland without having a visa. And they were very surprised, I have to say. We had a very important personality as testimonial of the Lake Saimaa region in this occasion, Sami Hoyer. She has a strong connection with Italy because she started her work as international top model in Florence and then in Milan. And we already organized an event with Saimi a couple of years ago with Visit Finland. In this occasion in Milan, we had, as I told you, more than 40 media representatives representing the most important Italian media. We had a great media mix with travel, print, online magazines, lifestyle magazine, outdoor webzine, daily magazine, press agencies, TV and radio. Some big players as Corriere della Sera and with the female lifestyle magazine Elle, Io Donna, Marie Claire, Donna Moderna. Okay. I can change the slides from here now. Why? And some TV channels like National Geographic TV and the Max TV. Sorry, Susanna, you can see my slides?
So we don't see it. We see only your video. Do you want me to share the PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah, it was shared, but something.
If you want, I can show it from my screen and you can tell me when to change the slide.
Order. Okay, it's charging, but yeah, maybe it's better, Susanna.
Yes, you can tell me when I have to change the slide, so I share it from my...
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Technical troubles, sorry. Yeah, we can go with the next slide. As I told you, we organized last week's 2 activities, a media PR event in Milan and a group press trip. To the next slide, please. Yeah, it was the very first time that the travel corridor was presented to Italian media. Next, please. And these are the details, to the next slide, please, about the PR event on 15 November with Saimaa Hoyer as testimonial of the Lake Saimaa region. As I told you, she has a strong connection with Italy. We can change to the next. These are the media present to the event. We had networking apero and then the presentation of Gosaina, visit Saimaa and travel corridor, and then a nice dinner with a real Finnish ambience with a special decoration of the room. To the next. The second activity was a group press trip with 8 participants from 24th to 30 November. A round trip with the discovery of the northern part of the Lake Saimaa region, and then we moved to the southern to Gosaima. And in Lappeenranta, next slide, please, we had a presentation of the travel corridor on the ship MS Ship Karelia with Pikkujoulut, a pre-Christmas party. We had very important media with leading travel magazines in Italy, like Dove and Bella Europa, and then a touring club, who is the biggest Italian national tourist organization, founded in 1894, a real institution in Italy. They produce and publish maps, travel books, guides, magazine, online and offline, and they organize a lot of cultural initiatives. And then female magazine like Elle e Donna Moderna, a top webzine with high quality of pictures, latitudes, life, and then obviously Corriere della Sera is the first daily newspaper in Italy. Next slide, please. How did the travel corridor attract Italian media? After these 2 events in Milano, the PR event and then the media trip, we asked the journalists to told us their impression about the travel corridor project. Next slide. Next slide, please, Susanna. Not the second, the first one, please. The main topics were that it's very exotic to have in Europe the possibility to have a bridge between West and Eastern culture. Then the great contrast of this region and the Italian people, the Italian journalists were very impressed about the unique nature and the environmental quality. And on the other part, the great cultural proposal from example is from Viborg and St. Petersburg. It's very important to say that some points who are absolutely normal to you, like the water in the lake who is drinkable, it's shocking for Italian people. This is really something unique. And then next slide. Of course, one of the main topics, the main points, is the easily reachable, the easy way to reach the region from northern Italy thanks to the direct flights from Ryanair from Bergamo, Orio al Serio to La Perranta. Next slide, please. All the Italian media involved in the presentation in Milan and the press trips are absolutely convinced that the travel corridor has a great potential, especially in the northern Italy, the Grande Milano area. With the post-pandemic perspective, all the points listed before are absolutely important. Wide landscapes, a place with safe, who has large spaces, environmental quality are priority one. Travelers no longer want to be passive spectators of beauty, but they want to actively participate in it, learn about the places and the traditions, and reconnect with the nature. These are the post-pandemic tendencies. The journey should be lived as an experience in its most authentic meaning, an exploration of ourselves through the places that welcome us, a new philosophy of life in that reconnects to nature and its deep secrets. This means that the traveling in future have to be an experiential tourism with outdoor activities, tastings, customized tours, so to discover nature, culture, and gastronomy. And for all these points, the Saimaa region is absolutely top. And the Italian media people were very, very surprised about the authenticity of this region, with also with the food proposal. This is very important to Italians. It's one of the main points of travel to also abroad, not only in Italy, but for Italian tourists, food is priority one. On the other side, the cultural proposal, next slide, please, complete the tour. St. Petersburg has a strong, very strong link to Italy, was planned and realized by architects and artists coming from northern Italy and also the Italian-speaking part of Switzerland. We can say that St. Petersburg is a little bit an Italian city, It's also called the Venice from the northern part. Domenico Trizzini was involved by Peter the Great, but there are a lot of artists and architects who have built this city. And then, obviously, the Hermitage is a must with all the works of the great Italian artists. Next slide, please. Also, the Italian market has more interesting experience in the region. Round trips in the Lake Saimaa region for experiencing the nature, Finnish well-being, food and outdoor activities, and a cultural program thanks to visa-free cruise to Viborg and St. Petersburg. Our impression is that this project has great potential, mainly for individuals, couples, and little groups of friends, of relatives, with a stay of 1 week or more to experience all the natural possibility and outdoor activities and the contrasting cultural proposal of Viborg and St. Petersburg. This, as I told you, this was a first presentation to the Italian media of the travel corridor, started only a couple of weeks ago. But the impression is that the product has a great potential in the post-pandemics. So this was at the moment. I don't know if you have some questions to the Italian impression of the media people concerning the travel corridor project.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It was nice to see and hear what kind of impressions the Italians had of this area. And also it was a new information to me as well that our area hasn't been previously so known in Italy, that this was first time when this kind of was done. But I have a couple of questions to you. So, are Italians also interested in other seasons, or are they mostly interested in only the summer season?
No, absolutely not. It's clear that the main holiday season in Italy is August. This is the traditional period of the holidays. But the things are changing also in Italy. The tendency is to have not 1 month holiday in August, but maybe 2 weeks in August and then a couple of weeks in other seasons. I guess the winter time has great potential between the Italian. We saw this during the press trip. We had the chance to have snow in the Saimaa region, and this has changed totally the perspective. I have experienced the Saimaa region in summer and winter, and it changes completely. It's a completely different place. You don't recognize the same places you have seen in summer if you go there in winter. This is extreme for us. And on the other side, I think that also the autumn could be very interesting. With wellness activities, Finnish well-being, sauna experience. This is very important to the Italian. Also the different kind of saunas you have in the region, the ice sauna, obviously the traditional Finnish sauna, and this.
Yes, you also mentioned that for Italians, food is like number one. And how do you find the possibilities here, for example, in Finland, because we have the pure nature, and it's, for example, very popular that you go into the forest to pick berries or mushrooms. So do you see that there would be maybe potential for this kind of tourism products as well, where people could like experience where the berries and mushrooms?
Absolutely. Every man's right is something very special and also exotic for Italians. There is a private property everywhere in Italy, also in the woods, in the mountains. If you pick berries or mushrooms in a private property, it's as your own risk. Sometimes this possibility to pick mushrooms, berries, and the product of the forest, it's absolutely incredible to Italian people. And this could be also a product for them, especially from the north, coming from the northern part of Italy. We saw this with Saimaa, for example, with the mushrooms experience, and also translated to the gastronomic presentation and proposals. And I have to say that the Italian people are very critical about the gastronomic proposals. In this case, I have to say that the proposal of little structure, little restaurant and hotels fits better the request of the Italian people for food than the big hotels you can find in the region, honestly. I can't hear you, Susanna.
Yes,
I have a question for you from the public here in audience. So we are bringing the microphone to her, but maybe you can come a little bit closer so that he can hear from this microphone here. Okay. So here is a question from the audience.
Hello. This is Minna from Savonlinna. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
How about Italians? Are you keen on fishing? Would organized fishing trips on Lake Saimaa be interesting for your target group?
Absolutely. Italy is a land of fishers. There are a lot of organizations, not only sports organization, but also leisure fishing, and therefore it's very interesting. I know that Saimaa Lake is very rich in fish. Could be absolutely an interesting product for Italy.
Maybe combining and preparing your own meal from the fresh fish
Absolutely. The complete fishing experience.
Do you know if there are already some kind of ready-to-sell tour travel packages for Italian customers to come to Finland or to this travel corridor area?
To the travel corridor area, not yet, as I know. It's as I told you, it was completely new for the Italian media. They were surprised also of the possibility to travel to St. Petersburg without having a visa. But I think that in the post-pandemics, it will be very interesting also for travel agencies, tour operators, to have this product and project.
Do we have any other questions from anyone there on Teams or in YouTube? Any comments?
Hello, Marco.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Nice to see you.
Online. Nice to see you. We just want to thank you for the great cooperation. You had been so great help, and we are very happy to go on with the cooperation with you. And thank you for all your effort for this Saimaa and St. Petersburg, Viborg, our corridor project. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you. It was a real pleasure. And I know the potential of the region, of the product, and I'm pretty sure we can do great things also in Italy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you to Maisa and Tarja for your comments. And I see that Mirka Rahman has raised her hand up here. So Mirka, go ahead.
Hello, Marco. Hello, everyone. I want to continue. Nice to see you and hear you again. It was very nice. I continue our thank you to you, and it was very good to hear your presentation in here and make us appreciate our region again in the Italian eyes. And it's very good what you tell us how the winter is another altogether experience, and autumn. So really, there's three very interesting seasons for the Italians, which is our aim anyway, to extend the traveling period and the seasonality in here. And we are very strong. There's a strong demand from the Italian market. Our flights are full coming from Milan Bergamo, and we are happy to show the snow for them right now. So we are really happy to continue on this market. And about the food, we have just put our application in for the European Region of Gastronomy for Saimaa 2024, and we expect to win that in 22. So for year to celebrate 24, so we will be strengthening the food gastronomy section even more. So more returns for you here.
Fingers crossed.
Great. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot to you.
Thank you, Mirka, also for your comments. So for me, it was very interesting to hear about events in Milan and here around Lake Saimaa. And I want to thank you very much, Marco, at this point for joining this event. And I think that we don't have any questions at this point left. So thank you for your contribution.
Thank you very much to you. Bye. Ciao a tutti from Milan.
Bye.
Ciao.
So we are going to have our next speaker then online at 2 o'clock. And we have heard now a little bit about the Italian markets, which is a very important target group, especially for this Lake Saimaa area. And then when the border opens again also for the Russian side of the corridor area, because we have the flights from Bergamo, Italy to Lappeenranta in Lake Saimaa. And another very important area for us as a market area is or are the German-speaking countries. And when the corona situation gets a little bit better, and in a couple of years we are also going to have then charter flights to Savonlinna from Germany. So we really look forward to the era when we are going to be able to travel in a larger scale again. But I think that before our next speaker, Mr. Jyrki Oksanen from Visit Finland, is online, we can have maybe a couple of minutes technical break. So if you want to grab a cup of coffee, so we wait that he will come online, and then we continue with our next theme. We can continue with the program. So welcome, Jyrki. I hope you can hear me and also see me.
Yes.
Yes, very nice to have you here. So we will continue now with the theme of international target groups. And yes, the floor is yours. So thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. It's funny because it's the Olavinlinna in the background, and I seem to be like a ghost there behind you. It's just very funny. Anyway, it's good to be here. I did not make a PowerPoint show now, but I just speak freely. First of all, I think everybody understands we have some challenges with the pandemic situation that probably also influenced your campaign a little bit, but I understood you had some good pilot cases with Voigt, and I think Kontikiraisen was the other one. Unfortunately, they were not able to really launch them this year, but I'm sure they will for this coming season. And where we see our potential is combined trips to Finland and surrounding countries where we can grow most and easiest. So on the German market, we know that 60% of our potential are car touring, individual or groups, and they want to visit 2 or more countries. So we have been doing different kind of cooperation with Estonia, for example, and have Helsinki-Tallinn city breaks. And other one is the combination with North Cape in Lapland, which is the sort of classic touring product. And of course, then going over to Sweden with a ferry and include Sweden and Denmark, either way, up or down. And now with the Russia is the sort of biggest unused potential we have here from this all mentioned. So we really hope that this e-visa will become reality, and that we can start promoting not only the visa-free cruises, but include also St. Petersburg, especially in a Finland holiday agenda, and then further on, of course, different kind of tours and outdoor trips, etc. So now, as if we look at this market situation, so we expect that the expenditure of the German leisure travel market will bounce back to normal already in 2022, and this is a very good sign. Another fact is that there will be big differences where this expenditure is done. So the close by destinations where you can access with own car are growing most. Then we see a rise of nearly 300% in arriving with a train from Germany to Finland. So travel patterns are changing a little bit, and one thing that we are monitoring very closely are group travel, where we have only 4% or less is in groups of 6 and more. So that's a big change because, as you might know, Germany is a big source market for group travel and cruises. So really big groups, and they make a big part of our hotel accommodations during the summer. And this market is changing now. And we are discussing with coach tour operators how this will, the new future will be. They say it will be more mono destination and smaller groups, more exclusive programs, higher prices, built around interest and experiences more. So these same trends as we have all over in travel are, of course, coming also to this group travel market, coach tours, and that's might also be a good opportunity for us in especially southeastern Finland with very easy access to Russia, so to make different combinations. Sorry. Another thing is the accessibility via air, and now we have more and more flights coming directly to Lappeenranta, which is very positive. Sorry, I'll take a sip. And based on these flights, also different kind of programs can be arranged, so that increases the potential and then of course the interest on the market, so we can grow and develop this part of the business as well. And therefore to have like a summary, I think there's a strong potential as soon as we get over the limitations. Now I saw that the trains between Helsinki and St. Petersburg are back in traffic, but only Finns and Russians are allowed as guests. So that's how long this will go on, we're not quite sure about, but apparently there is some issues with the European Union accepting the Sputnik 5 as vaccination, and therefore this border traffic is not normal. So that is affecting also our success with this border traffic from European countries, at least via Finland to Russia. But as soon as this is over, and if we come back to the outlook and the situation on the market, we see that German epidemiologists say that this Omicron variant will be through by Easter holiday. So from there on, if no new mutation or variant comes, then we should be able to start winning this battle against the virus, and by summer 22 things should start to get normal in travel between Germany and Finland at least. So this is what we are hoping for, but what we already know now from statistics sources is that globally the problem is still there, and this pattern what we now have with the Omicron is likely to be repeated with other areas where the vaccination coverage is low, so there will be new mutations, and if the outlook is the same as now with this Omicron, that the new mutations are weaker, then in a year or two this will become like influenza. So some people will take vaccinations, some not, and it's a part of our life. And then there will not be any travel limitations either anymore. So this as a short update from our side. Unfortunately, we did not get to promote very much tours, so we have been maintaining the country brand mainly, and working towards the B2B channels and trying to figure out what is the future of our travel product on our markets, and there also the outlook is not bad at all. So nature and sustainability are rising top themes. We see a big change in business travel as already signals that where they are growing stronger during a crisis like here. We know that the amount of business trips, the duration and group sizes were getting smaller, and this trend keeps continuing. Now we also know that for example, 95% of Germans, German business travelers, wish to have a training how to travel before they start traveling again. So the world is a little bit crazy from in many ways, but I'm sure it will take a little bit longer for the outlook of business travel and group travel to recover, maybe 23, 24. It also has a lot to do with the accessibility, as we are only 65% of the pre-crisis accessibility between Germany and Finland at the moment due to the reduce of air frequencies, especially Finnair has got a lot of traffic, and it seems that they want to make a comeback from the summer schedule, so it will be from the 28th of March 22 onwards that we have the same potential as before the crisis. Ongoing, we have now this Christmas season in Lapland, and there we expect already 90% of pre-COVID sales this ongoing winter season, and this is what we are starting also different talks with our Central European players to have more charter flights directly to southern Finnish destinations, create longer seasons. So not only what is summertime for a tour operator, they would like to see it at least 3 months, but maybe as a total even longer, so it could be from mid-May until at least end of September as bookable charter season, and then we can compete with the classic charter destinations and have a proper offer, but it still needs maybe some rethinking from our side that we can create our services for this longer sales period. And I think coming back to this corridor, that could be a vital element in this development as especially the St. Petersburg part, but many other contents also there are available during this whole period and create attractive content, maybe also around the classic main summer seasons. So these were my insights. If you have questions, I would be happy to go deeper into different items here. But no boring presentation, so it was me live.
Thank you very much, Jyrki, for this insights. For me, it was new information that the German tourists use so much train for the transport here to this area, and it was very encouraging for us here, especially in this corridor area, that there is a lot of unused potential in this combination with Saimaa and region and St. Petersburg. So I hope that we will continue the cooperation here as well in promoting this travel concept. But I would have a couple of questions for you because you know the German market. So we have had, for example, here in Savonlinna a few workshops in which we developed with local small and medium-sized enterprises experience-based services for tourists. So how important do you see that the service providers could give the services in German? I know that Germans speak pretty well English, but do you think that that the German as a language should be promoted more here in the services?
To be honest, I think we have lost this ability, so it's good to have, and some group tour operators request guides in German, but most of the Nordic travel experience is not in German, it's in English for international visitors, and I think it's enough if we make it can invest in quality in this English presentation, then it's good also for the visitors. So sometimes if they have then own translation devices already online, that also works, and different kind of guides on top. So it's quite enough with English. So also the younger generations in Germany are much more fluent in English language.
And how about then if you think of this project corridor area in terms of challenges? So I guess that you know what kind of services we have here. So do you see that there are still some challenges other than COVID that the company should here try to tackle to get even more travelers from German-speaking countries?
Yeah, well, travel and growth is a matter of three different items. It's the accessibility, availability, and then you have demand on top, and each has to do with others. So when the availability and accessibility is good and there, then it normally is easily led to more demand, and this is also what we need in this recovery, because globally the situation is challenging for a longer time. So according to Oxford Economics, some countries are recovering only 25, 26. So we have to focus more on neighboring countries. Also, Visit Finland has made Sweden, Germany, and UK the main markets. So we have dropped the Asian countries from these main source markets for the time being, as it's not only the COVID, but there are also geopolitical issues that might influence travel from, say, from China to Europe in the future. And it's in the long run how the recovery will be, and therefore it's best to invest there where we know that we can have this conversion and growth.
Thank you for your answers. Do we have any questions in the audience or in YouTube? Yes, there are no more questions here. So at this point, I want to say a warm thank you. Thank you for your time and contribution. And I also wish you a nice Christmas time. So thank you for joining our end seminar today.
Thank you very much. Kiitos, spasiba.
Hey, hey. So this was our last presentation before our coffee break. So now we are going to have about a 30 minutes break. So I think that we can start then 10 to 3 again. So we are going to have 30 minutes break. And we are going to still have, after that, the presentation of our other Russian partners, St. Petersburg, and after that we are going to have the conclusion of today. So see you in a half an hour.
From the coffee break, we are starting the last part of today's end seminar. And in the last actual presentation, we will give the floor to our partner in St. Petersburg, St. Petersburg City Tourist Information Bureau. They have brought also guests from Tour Russia Travel and City Sightseeing. So we have today 3 speakers. First one is Anastasia Burgaltseva from St. Petersburg City Tourist Information Bureau. Anastasia's there online already. Hello. And the second one is Lilia Golovanova from Tourrussia.travel. And the third speaker, the third guest with us from St. Petersburg is Julia Krusman from City Sightseeing Russia St. Petersburg. So it's a city tours company. In the presentation of St. Petersburg, the partner will speak about their main achievements in the project, which are the brochure, marketing research, video, which was made as part of the FAM trips, and then there is, of course, cooperation with travel businesses. So, I will give the floor to Anastasia, so you can start with your presentation.
Thank you, Susanna. Do you see my presentation? Okay, let me please one more time just try to show the full picture. Good day, dear partners. Warm greetings from St. Petersburg. Thank you for your attention to this project, and let me please also thank you, our dear partners, for this great work that we did during this project. Our achievements, the achievements of St. Petersburg during Travel Corridor project, and let me please start with some information materials. So, to spread information among the potential visitors of our city, we have created a special section about the project on the official website, Visit Petersburg. Here you can find information both in English and in Russian, and here one can find information about the project itself, about the regions, and also download some visual materials of the project that were created during our work. And one more thing that we created is the new brochure. This brochure was already shown by our colleague Amira from Leningrad region. So we have created this brochure, layouted this brochure, in 4 languages. It was English, Finnish, Russian, and German. And in this brochure can be found information about the project and about region's participants. What information can be found here? It's information about the region itself, information about main attractions, and about the things that tourists can do in this region. The next one. So this year we also had a farm trip, but unfortunately due to some pandemic restrictions, it wasn't possible for us to take part in this farm trip offline. That's why we have filmed a video about St. Petersburg, and today, after all presentations, we will see this video in YouTube streaming. So, one of the biggest tasks of St. Petersburg in a Travel Corridor project was a marketing research. As a result of the research was revealed the following. So the first one is a summary portrait of a tourist arriving to the region of Saimaa and visiting St. Petersburg. So according to the research, a typical tourist visiting the region is most likely a citizen of Russia, China, or one of the largest European countries like France, Germany, and Spain, aged from 36 to 50 years of old, and it's a woman with a medium income. The level of education is high, and this tourist is married. But I need to pay your attention to the fact that this research was made before the pandemic, so now for sure the situation can be a little bit different. The preferred travel format is mainly family tours. The purpose of travel to the region is mainly to visit cultural and historical centers. The season is summer. The duration of the trip is from 3 days to a week, and the tourist is preparing himself for this trip in advance. And the most preferred place of accommodation is a hotel. For more than half of responders, combined tours of visiting during one tour both the territory of Finland and Russia is of interest. And the next point is to target groups. So study revealed that there are some groups of potential tourists who can visit this region. The first group is Israel, South Korea and Hong Kong, just because they have a visa-free regime with both Finland and Russia. The next group is German, Estonia, France and Italy. They are among top leaders of visitors of this region. The next one is China. They also have some visa-free regime with Russia. So, before the pandemic, Russia was a very popular destination for tourists from China. And the last top leaders of tourists are visitors from such countries like Austria, Belgium, Great Britain, Denmark, Spain, Canada, Norway, Sweden and Japan. And the last point of our research was associations. So talking about St. Petersburg and Leningrad region, they are associated with Tsar and Romanov dynasty. And talking about Saimaa region, tourists indicate almost exclusively nature-oriented associations like lakes, forests, fishing, and so on. Also, during the research, we have made an internet survey that showed that 3/4 of the responders have such experience of visiting the region. Every fifth has no such experience but would like to get it. More than a third of respondents had a chance to travel to the region times or more. 3/4 of the respondents named visiting cultural sites as a key goal of their last trip. Much less traveled for the sake of the beauty of nature. Every third on work matters. The overwhelming majority of the respondents would be interested in combined tours with the possibility of visiting in the course of one trip both the territory of the northwest of Russia and the territory of Saimaa region. Also, during the project, we have worked with travel business. We were glad to see that so many people, so many companies are interested in cooperation within the Travel Corridor project. As a proof of this, they provided letters of intent and also participated in our networking event. This networking event took place on the 10th of November this year, and there were 19 participants. These were tour operators, representatives of hotels, transport companies, and business from St. Petersburg, Leningrad region, and Finland. As a part of this event, the participants held presentations of their companies and also discussed the prospects of cooperation within Corridor project. So information about partners was placed on the special website. Here you can see the link to this website and also some logos of the companies that were interested in cooperation within the corridor project. So, dear colleagues, that's it in a few words about our main achievements during the Travel Corridor project. Let me please thank you for your attention and hope that our corridor route will attract thousands of tourists, and of course I invite you to visit our beautiful city, St. Petersburg. Today we will have a possibility to visit our city online, but fortunately very soon it will be also possible to visit St. Petersburg offline. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Anastasia. And follow one. What did I pronounce your name correctly? So please, Lilia.
Yes, my name is Lilia Golovanova, that's right, and I represent a tour operator to Russia Travel. Can everyone hear me well?
Yes, we can, and we see also your presentation.
Okay, thank you. So it's a big honor for us to participate in this project as well, together with our colleagues from St. Petersburg. We are a tour operator with the head office based in St. Petersburg, and we've been working with tours for more than 10 years now, and we work directly with all the main attractions, museums in St. Petersburg and hotels. We would be very happy to help our Finnish colleagues to organize unique itineraries to St. Petersburg that include not only the tours to the main museums, but also activities such as gala evenings at museums, gala dinners, communications with local professionals, artists, architects, dinners with local families, and all the other activities that would be interesting for them within their stay in St. Petersburg. We work not only in St. Petersburg, but Russia-wide, so cooperation with us allows you not only to work on itineraries to St. Petersburg, but also to the other regions. Speaking about St. Petersburg, as we've mentioned prior on previous sessions, of course, St. Petersburg is a very rich heritage in terms of UNESCO sites, beautiful palaces and parks that are very nice to visit, not only in summer, but also in autumn and winter times. We now started working closely with the small private family eco-funds in Leningrad region, and we organize tours also to those places. And sometimes, upon request, we also do trips to the local country clubs, such as golf club and golf clubs in St. Petersburg, and also yacht club in late spring and summer time when we have navigation. St. Petersburg houses a lot of international events, and we have plenty of beautiful venues, not only traditional ones at the hotels, but also beautiful palaces that offer their spaces for the events. After events, we can organize off-conference activities such as yachting and taking trips on the rivers and canals of St. Petersburg or in the Finnish Gulf, military games, and other things. We can also suggest a lot of venues for private galas. That includes our main museum, Hermitage, and Vladimir Palace. Also, St. Petersburg is recently becoming more and more popular in terms of international weddings, and I hope that very soon, after all the limitations are gone, we will be welcoming also newlyweds from Finland. We would be very happy to work closely with our partners from Finland, and would be open to new ideas, and looking forward to develop common itineraries that would suit the needs of Finnish clients and Russian clients. Thank you very much for your attention, and we are looking forward to welcome you in St. Petersburg and to work together.
Thank you very much, Lilia. It was nice to hear your presentation, and thank you also for the invitation for cooperation. So I hope that you will receive new contacts through this corridor project.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so we can do so that if somebody in the audience has any questions, we can have then a few minutes after all your presentations. And next we have then online Julia Grusman from City Sightseeing Russia, St. Petersburg. So welcome, Julia.
Yes, hi to anybody. Is it good to hear me? Yes? Is it good?
Yes, we hear you well.
Okay, I hope that's okay. So let me show my presentation. Is it okay? Is it? Can anybody see? Yeah, okay. So my name is Yulia, and I'm a manager of commercial department from City Sightseeing Russia, exactly in St. Petersburg. And firstly, I just want to say that I'm really glad and thankful to be a part of this event. We are really glad to take a part in this big project. So, and we also hope to continue it in the future. So City Sightseeing, it is a big worldwide company, and in Russia we have 3 cities: Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Kazan. Our special thing that we work in hop-on, hop-off system, and it makes us different from other tour company. So we have 2 types of tickets, 24 and 48 hours. And also we have 2 special routes through the city center and along the embankment. And our tourists can choose what they like more, or they can use all together. And also, I just wanted to say that we are a really big team, because our drivers are so professional, and in every buses we have special stewards. They speak several foreign languages, absolutely, and also they are ready to help for our passengers. Also, we have additional sales, for example, our thematic tours with professional guides, and here we can see the examples of it. Some special stops in every of this thematic tour, when our guests can take photos or to make wishes and such different events also. And for now, for this holiday week, we have a special idea. We will begin Christmas Petersburg. It's a special thematic tour for these holidays, also with the stops in the city center with special illumination, when St. Petersburg looks amazing and fabulous. So we hope that it will be a really good idea. In the summertime, we have special river excursions with our partners Astromarine, a very big choice to travel through the canals and rivers. So also at the summertime, we're waiting our guests. And also, so our company is worldwide. So in Helsinki, we also have our department. And it is the same conception, because we have stops in the city center and in the main signs. So also we have a special boat tickets to the rivers and canals. And the main idea also that we can use in St. Petersburg in the future, because we're just still waiting for the opening of the seaport. As I know, in Helsinki, it's also here, yes, and we have special stop near the seaport in Helsinki, so it should be really good for the big cruise ships when the passengers can go after their cruise to our bus. And some views of our buses in the Finnish landscape. So finally, I just wanted to say that we are open for any suggestions, for any questions, for any cooperations. We like to work with our partners. So thank you so much. That's all.
Thank you very much, Julia, for your presentation. And I think that we will share these presentations after this event. So if there are people who are interested in cooperation with you, they can have then your contact information and also Lilia's contact information then from those presentations. Does anyone online have any questions or here in the hall? Yeah, no questions at this point, so thank you for your contribution. And I think that at this point we will continue to the conclusions of the day. And we have heard many interesting presentations and contribution from all our partners. And for those of who are watching this event in YouTube, you will have at the end of this joint program still a possibility to watch a video made by our partner in St. Petersburg. So we are not showing here in the hall because of the technical issues, but even though we are going to finish this event here, please stay online and watch it so you will learn more about our partners St. Petersburg region. But yeah, we have heard very nice news concerning Italy and the Central European tourist markets, and I hope that you all have got a glimpse of all the achievements that we have done in this travel corridor project together. And as far as I have heard feedback, so this new concept of the travel corridor, one destination combining two experiences in two different countries, is a pretty new thing, and it has got a positive feedback internationally. So therefore, we have a lot of unused potential in our area. And I promised you earlier to show our project website that has been developed. So I will also share my screen to those who are watching this meeting on Teams. So now you should see it. This is the newest version of the website that is now being still a little bit developed further before the project ends. And this is a web page that we encourage all of you to visit and to use in the future. It will be available in 4 languages, in Finnish, Russian, English, and also German. And we have here information of each of our project area, of this Saimaa area, St. Petersburg, and Leningrad region. And then there is also a general info path here, where you can find, for example, logistic information about the visa regime and so on. So I give you now only a sneak peek here, and this will be then also published before end of this year. So please use the website and visit it, even though it's not yet published in this updated format. But here you can have information of each region. There are, for example, also some attractions here where you can find more information. There are some tips and so on. So I think that this is going to be a very, very nice place where to find in one internet address information how to combine easily both these regions in these 2 countries. I asked our partners in this project to give me some thoughts about their benefits, what they have gained from this project, and for example, new products and new travel packages. That was one thing that was mentioned by many of our partners. There are new products from tour operators as well, combining these two areas. And we have also reached new target markets, as we heard that the United States market is going to be then reached even better in the future, in the upcoming years. The project has raised interest and common knowledge about these areas among the tour operators. We have gained international publicity, and I believe that we are going to have it even after the project ends. New materials have been published.
Welcome to use all those materials that we will publish, for example, on this webpage. There is the product manual from the tourist products developed here in Savonlinna. There will be also a brochure available. There are presentations and so on. So I hope that you all will find
the materials useful. And there has been also a lot of interest from the companies already working with the incoming market, and interest also from the outgoing companies from abroad to package these two countries. And the work with this theme, with the concept of this corridor area, will continue
after the project. So the information will be disseminated and promoted. Our project partners will tell about the project and about the packages in workshops, fairs, events, exhibitions, and when they meet tour operators. And we have the manuals which can be used for the same purpose. And there are brochures that we can also use to promote these areas. We have already noticed during the project, even though we have suffered a little bit from the difficulties with the COVID, that the outputs are already benefiting many kind of companies, and not only the visit organizations, but many
companies have joined, for example, the workshops. They have been on the fan trips and so on. We hope that also individual tourists might get some information
of traveling between these two areas with the help of this project website or the brochures. So I really look forward to see how the results will develop further in the future, when we can travel again and when people can travel to our area. And at this point, I want to say a very warm thank you to all of our guests today. Those of you who are watching this event there in YouTube, thank you very much for joining today. I want to say a thank you to all our presentators and for those who have showed interest in our project. And especially I say a very big thank you for all our partners here in Finland and in Russia. It has been a pleasure to work with you. And I hope that we can continue this good work together and promoting this joint travel corridor area. At this point, I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and then a Happy New Year. If you want to contact us, we will send you an email with some more information where you can find the presentations, and there you will get also our contact information. So if you have anything in mind, please don't hesitate to contact the partner in your area. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
The city has been called many names. The northern and second capital of Russia, Peter's Paradise, the city of white nights, rain and fog, northern Palmyra, the cultural capital, the city of three revolutions, northern Venice. It's been calculated that St. Petersburg has 35 names. Here is one of them, the city on the Neva. Many tried to build a city on the bogs and swamps at the mouth of this river. However, only Peter the Great succeeded in 1703. The stormy Neva River could not but surrender. So let's take a walk along its banks. We will see St. Pete's palaces, its cathedrals, fortresses, monuments. Besides, we will visit contemporary spaces to find out how the city has changed and what it has become. But first, I'll tell you how to get to St. Petersburg. One way is to travel by plane to Pulkovo Airport. Another option is perfect for sea lovers. As St. Petersburg has access to the Baltic Sea, it has its own port. Of course, you can come to St. Petersburg by car, bus or train. Bus station number 2 on the Obvodny Canal welcomes guests from Finland, and so does the Finlandsky railway station. In the square in front of the station, people cannot. Vostania Square is the first thing most guests of St. Petersburg see, at least those who arrive at Moscow railway station, the largest in the city. When Nicholas I decided to connect Moscow and St. Petersburg with the railway, this square became the terminus. Back then, though, it was called Znamenskaya, after the church with which the history of the square began. Nowadays, there is a station of St. Petersburg Metro, which is, by the way, said to be the deepest in the world. We are heading to the main street. Nevsky Prospect is only a few years younger than St. Petersburg itself. It sounds surprising, but at first one had to pay to use the street. And not only with money, people would pay with cobblestones, which were used to improve the roadway. That is how Nevsky became the longest cobble street in Russia. In those days, the nobility preferred to stroll along the sunny side with even numbering, but they ordered to build palaces on the shady side. In the 19th century, a good suntan was viewed as a sign of bad taste. Soon after, though, mansions, shops and theaters began to appear on both sides. Today, Nevsky Prospect is designated as the UNESCO World Heritage Site, along with the historical center of the city. And it shouldn't surprise anyone, because St. Petersburg was built by the best architects from Russia and all over the world. The Eliseevsky store is one of the main gastronomic attractions of St. Petersburg. When it opened its doors in 1902, citizens were amazed and outraged. A store with an Art Nouveau decor was a trend of the new era and was very different from any classical exterior. While some people called the building ugly, it did not prevent the rich from buying French marzipans and fresh oysters here at Eliseevsky. To tell the story of its appearance on Nevsky, we have to go back 2 centuries in time. On Christmas Eve, a Count Sheremetev serf, Pyotr Eliseev, served his master fresh strawberries, which he had grown in the greenhouse. The Count was so amazed that he not only granted his serf freedom but also startup capital. A year later, Pyotr opened a delicatessen shop. A beautiful story, isn't it? This tale about a commoner making his way into high society was the one that Eliseevs launched in St. Petersburg newspapers on the store's centennial anniversary. Such was the marketing ploy, but there is some truth in every tale. Pyotr Yeliseyev would sell expensive wines and colonial products brought from abroad by ship. After his death, the business only grew bigger. His sons delivered wine of their own production to the imperial court. And this place, which reminds us of a modern shopping center with a store on the first floor, a theater on the second, and a restaurant on the third, was opened by Pyotr's grandson Grigory. In memory of the glorious past, there will soon be a museum boasting antiques and pre-revolutionary assortment of goods from all over the world, which could be purchased with chic and style right on Nevsky. Let's move on and see the building that has become the landmark of the city. At the beginning of the 20th century, the famous Zinger Corporation decided to build its head office in St. Petersburg, the first 11-story skyscraper. There was only one problem. It wasn't allowed to build anything higher than the Winter Palace. Architect Pavel Suzor figured out how to stand out from the crowd without breaking any rules. He decorated the building with a dome with a glass globe. The dome as if hinted that Zinger would conquer the world. If you look inside, you will be greeted by the Valkyries at the front door. One of them is holding a spindle, the other the caduceus, a symbol of trade. Well, let's see what they have on offer now. Back in the Soviet era, the Zinger building accommodated the House of Books. It did not stop working even during the siege, when shells and bombs exploded around. Today it is one of the largest bookstores in Europe. Here you can find any book, listen to a favorite poet or writer at literary events, and even have a cup of coffee, which I will go for now. On the second floor of the Zinger store, there is a cozy cafe. It is worth going up here to enjoy the view from the panoramic windows onto the Kazan Cathedral, which looks just as majestic as its Italian prototype, St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. There are more than 200 cathedrals and churches in St. Petersburg, and many of them are famous around the world. Church of the Savior on Spilled Blood. It stands on the spot where the revolutionary, mortally wounded Emperor Alexander II. The temple was built in Neo-Russian style. The mosaic inside covers an area of more than 7,000 square meters. Small neat convent and cathedral. Empress Elizabeth spent her childhood here and wished to retire among its walls, but her dream could not come true. The temple construction took almost 90 years. St. Isaac's Cathedral, the main cathedral of St. Petersburg, was rebuilt 4 times. The author of the final project was a French architect, Auguste de Montferrand. To prevent the construction from collapsing on swampy soil, 11,000 piles were used in the foundation. Besides, for the first time in history, columns weighing 64 tons were raised to a height of 40 meters, a true technological miracle. About 400 kilograms of pure gold and more than 40 most valuable minerals were used to decorate the cathedral. When Nicholas I saw the final cost estimate, he was horrified and ordered to save at least on utensils. It was the most expensive temple in Europe, but you must agree, it was worth every penny. St. Petersburg's history began with Peter and Paul Fortress. In 1703, the Great Northern War was still going on. Very soon, though, the Russians managed to liberate the whole Neva area from the Swedes. Here on Zaitchi, Hare Island, Peter ordered the construction of a fortress to protect his lands. It was named in honor of the Apostle Peter, St. Petersburg. Despite the fact that the war continued and the land still legally belonged to Sweden, Peter had everything already decided. He built a city on the banks of the Neva, declared that St. Petersburg was the new capital of the Russian Empire in 1712, and in fact ruled the country from the territory of a foreign state for 9 years. Admiralty. Peter began to build it immediately after the founding of St. Petersburg. Shipyard carpenters worked here from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. And so did Peter himself as a chief master. He built ships to make the Russian Empire a maritime power. I write, I read without a lamp, and clear are the sleeping deserted streets, and bright is the Admiralty needle. These are the lines by Alexander Pushkin in the poem The Bronze Horseman. That's how the spire on the central tower of the Admiralty was called the Admiralty Needle. Timber was delivered to the Admiralty shipyard from the island of New Holland. Peter the Great invited the Dutch to work at the shipyards on the left bank of the Neva. The atmosphere was so reminiscent of a foreign port that people started to call this area Holland. These days, the former warehouses are replaced by trendy modern spaces. This is a former smithy, where woodworking tools were forged. Now there is a restaurant and a cafe. Offenders were sent here to the sea prison, which was nicknamed the bottle for its unusual round shape. They say that is where the expression "don't get into the bottle," said to someone who inadequately reacts to one's words as if asking for punishment, comes from. Nowadays it houses yoga and ballet classes as well as designer shops. The house where a commandant used to live with his assistants has been turned into space for workshops and educational events for children. As you can imagine, it's never boring here in New Holland. On the islands or any parts of the city, you can find a quiet place for fishing. The most favorite fish of the locals is smelt. It was so loved that in 1708 Peter the Great himself ordered a celebration in its honor. Since then, you can attend a festival that smells of fish and cucumber every spring. St. Petersburg has 42 islands and 300 bridges. And it's not surprising, the city is built on water which is everywhere, in canals and rivers. The stormy Neva, the calm Fontanka, the windy Moika, as if in Venice, they flow through the streets, occupying that part of them which is usually called the carriageway. In warm weather, numerous motor ships and gondolas ply along them, just like in the old days. According to Peter's plans, Vasilyevsky Island was to become Russian Amsterdam, or at least Russian Venice. The architect Domenico Trezzini designed the network of canals. The longitudinal ones were to be called perspectives, and the transverse ones lines. However, those plans were not meant to come true. Over time, the channels got shallow and they had to be filled up. In memory of the planned project, the names of the lines, which for the most part are numbered from 1st to 29th, and wide avenues remain to this day. But this place has something to offer, the so-called Spito-Vasilyevsky Island. Architect Jean-François Thomas de Thumont thought about the project of the site for a long time, when one day his wife brought him morning coffee. He looked at the tray and realized what exactly this peak should look like. Tons of earth were brought to the banks of the Neva, thousands of piles were installed. Eventually, the embankment was moved forward and acquired the shape of a tray for a coffee pot, the first Russian stock exchange, and cups, rostral columns. It's time for us to move on. A beautiful view on Palace Embankment opens up from this spot, and it's not far from the main square of the city. That's where we are going. When Petersburg was not 300 but 30 years old, the view from the palace was different. When looked out of her window, Empress Anna Ioannovna saw a picturesque meadow where she loved to chase hares. Meanwhile, cows were herded here during the reign of Elizabeth. Catherine the Great, however, did not want to see them. It's under her rule that this square was built in front of the palace. Palace Square has always been a place for major events, parades, concerts. Every summer, on a day around the summer solstice, the Palace Square becomes a venue for a unique festival Scarlet Sails, which celebrates the end of the school year. Scarlet Sails, a story about a girl who believed in a miracle and a miracle happened, is also a message to school graduates embarking on a new journey into adult life. On the shortest summer night, hundreds of thousands of citizens and tourists gather on the bridges and embankments to see a beautiful frigate with scarlet sails sailing along the Neva in the light fireworks. Originally, there were private palaces in a semicircle. After the Napoleon invasion of Russia, they were replaced by the General Staff Building. To honor the victory of Russian arms, the palaces were connected with the Triumphal Arch. It was supposed to glorify the merits of the Emperor Alexander I. Besides, in honor of the emperor who defeated Napoleon, a 50-meter-high Alexander column was installed in the center of the square. It is crowned with the figure of an angel trampling a serpent with the cross. When the emperor saw the column, he said to the architect Montferrand, "You have made yourself immortal," and he was right. There are many places in the city where you can contemplate classical or contemporary art. One of them, you will be surprised, is the oldest Lutheran church of Vanne-Kirche. At the time of Peter the Great, many Dutch and Germans worked in St. Petersburg and they needed a Lutheran church. In 1775, the architect Uri Felten, the author of the interiors of the Winter Palace and its square, created the Anne-Kirche. During the Soviet years, serving in the church ceased. Instead, it functioned as a movie theater or a concert venue. A few years ago, the building that stayed abandoned for years was returned to parishioners who continue restoring it. In addition to religious events, contemporary art exhibitions and lectures are held in the church nowadays. All funds are spent on the restoration, and the parishioners grow not only spiritually, but also culturally. Palace Square 2. The address of the main imperial residence. Previously, there were 1,500 rooms here, ceremonial halls, bedrooms, libraries, chapels, a theater. Apparently, Catherine the Great felt those were not enough. So, a small pavilion was built right next to the palace, the Hermitage, which is translated from French as a private space or a hermit's cell. It's pretty impossible to call it this way today, as the Hermitage is visited by 4 million people every year, no privacy. The history of this museum began with small things. The Prussian merchant Johann Ernst Gotskowski owed grain to the Russian army and decided to pay off with paintings. Catherine accepted the offer and placed them in her Hermitage. The Empress liked it so much that she bought whole collections of paintings. When there was no room in the original small Hermitage, they built the big and then the new one. The Egyptian pharaohs were supposed to meet visitors in the new Hermitage, as conceived by the architect Leo von Klenze. But Emperor Nicholas I was indignant. "I'm building the Hermitage, not a tomb." And he told his architects to come up with something Greek. This is how the atlases appeared. Everyone liked them at once. At the Soviet times, there was even a song dedicated to them, which became a kind of hymn for the Hermitage. When your heart is heavy and your chest is cold, come to the steps of the Hermitage at dusk. There, without water or bread, forgotten for centuries, atlases hold the sky in stone hands. Today, the Hermitage boasts more than 3 million exhibits, while the Louvre has only about 300,000. If you want to visit all of its halls, you will have to walk at least 20 kilometers. In the same way, if you devote at least a minute to each exhibit, it will take you 10 years, or maybe more. The next stop on our cultural route is one of the world's best opera and ballet theaters, the Mariinsky Theater. It was named this way in honor of Alexander II's wife, Maria, who was actively involved in charity work and patronized the arts. Imagine, to commemorate this great woman, the artist repeated the pattern of the Empress's coronation dress on the stage curtain. Among the greatest artists who performed in Mariinsky were the choreographer Marius Petipa and composer Pyotr Tchaikovsky, ballet stars Vaslav Nijinsky and Anna Pavlova, as well as soloists Fyodor Shaliapin and Igor Stravinsky. The stage was equipped with the latest technology, and the voices of the opera singers sounded majestically. Only a century later, the secret of such good acoustics revealed itself. During the restoration of the theatre, the builders raised the floor of the orchestra pit and found pieces of broken crystal there. Every year, the Mariinsky gives the stage to the best opera singers, ballet dancers and musicians from all over the world that shine at the White Night Stars Festival, an event not to miss. The imperial family spent winter in the capital, but for the summer they usually moved to the suburbs of St. Petersburg. Here we are. Our first stop is Tsarskoye Selo, now the town of Pushkin. Here we find the Catherine Palace, the residence of the three empresses. The palace took its name after Catherine I, who ordered the laying of a two-story building that would have 16 chambers. The next owner, Elizabeth Petrovna, found it too modest. No wonder she rebuilt it 4 times. 100 kilograms of gold were spent only on decoration. The azure walls in combination with white columns conveyed the elated festive mood of the cheerful Empress Elizabeth. Let's take a walk around the palace. Luxury on the outside and luxury on the inside. Among the many rooms, the most famous is the Amber Room. No wonder it is called the 8th wonder of the world. Its history is amazing. The Prussian King William presented Peter the Great with amber panels. Later, by order of Peter's daughter, Elizabeth, the architect Francesco Rastrelli created a magnificent amber interior. Tragically, during the Second World War, the Germans took out the room and no one else saw it. Its reconstruction took almost 25 years and 6 tons of amber. It looks even better than in Elizabethan time. The third owner of the residence, Catherine the Great, did not allow state funds to be squandered on the palace. When she found out how much it cost to repair the gilded statues, she ordered them to be coated with plain ochre. She reproached her predecessor for wastefulness, called the palace whipped cream, and tried to restore its original modest appearance. In her leisure time, Empress Catherine II loved to go hunting near the palace. When her son Paul and his wife Maria gave birth to their first child, she granted these lands to a young family. This is how the city of Pavlovsk was founded. Later, Catherine sent the architect Charles Cameron here. No one expected such generosity from her, and he designed this classic palace, decorated with a touchy monogram, PM. It is arguably the most comfortable residence in the suburbs of St. Petersburg. Later, Paul gave it to his wife and built a new one to his own taste in Gatchina, which Maria did not like and said, "It's hard to fight with the mistress, especially if it is Gatchina." In fact, the first owner of the Gatchina Palace over the Silver Lake was Count Orlov. Empress Catherine II presented these lands to her favorite for organizing a palace coup, thanks to which she received the throne. The Count did not live long in a new palace, reminiscent of a medieval castle. After his death, Catherine granted her gift to her son Paul, who set up his little military state here, longing for feats and glory. Paul surrounded the castle with a moat and a wide parade ground, where military parades were held. On the lakes, the maneuvers of the Gatchina flotilla, with boarding and landings, were played out. Paul even created a well-trained army, but Catherine II called it the game of soldiers. Regardless of anything, Paul I was very happy. matter how good these suburban palaces are, they cannot surpass Peterhof, the residence of Peter the Great. The acclaimed Russian poet Gavril Derzhavin wrote, "He who wants to know what Eden's like, come and see Peter's home at the seaside." So let's come and see. Russian Versailles is the unofficial name of the residence of Peter the Great on the shores of the Gulf of Finland. During his trip to France, the emperor was struck by the Versailles fountains. Therefore, he decided to build a residence no worse, so that there were more fountains and they all worked in unison. Peter the Great was a man of his word indeed. By the way, the fountains still operate without pumps, because of the difference in heights and springs. It's a pity that you will not see the splendor in winter. Splendid fountains' role was not just beauty. This way, Peter wanted to represent the sea power of Russia and glorify its victory in the dispute over access to the Baltic Sea. The central figure of the Great Cascade is Samson rendering the lion's mouth. Have you already guessed who is who? Samson represents Russia and Peter, and the lion is a symbol of Sweden and Charles XII. Peter's favorite palace in Peterhof was not the Grand Palace, but the small palace Mon Plaisir, which in French means my pleasure. In this elegant one-story building in the Dutch style, he worked, relaxed, and admired the views of the Gulf of Finland on the terrace. Could Peter have imagined what his beloved city would become, how its shores would change centuries later? Today, the northern and southern shores of the bay are connected by the western high-speed diameter. Thanks to it, you can cross the metropolis in just 20 minutes. Although the road is tall, it's worth the money paid. This is the most beautiful highway in St. Petersburg. On both sides, it is framed by semicircular supports that resemble whale ribs. There will be overpasses, tunnels and unique bridges ahead. The one above the Morskoye Canal is two-tiered and the highest in St. Petersburg. If you go to the upper level, you will find yourself at an altitude of almost 70 meters. Further on, there are cable-stayed suspension bridges that seem to be hovering over the city. The view from here is so impressive that you want to make a stop, but it's dangerous. It is a better idea to take part in the annual marathon when the road is blocked and everyone can safely admire the spectacular views of the new business district of St. Petersburg. Gazprom Arena resembles a spaceship. When the weather is good, the roof of the stadium is open. Football matches and hockey games are held here, as well as concerts. In the distance, you can see the new public space, Sevkabil Port. It is located on the territory of the first cable plant in Russia. Recently, some workshops were vacated and art studios, cafes, shops were opened in them, while the walls were painted with graffiti. In the oldest village of Lahta, a glass ship rises high on the shores of the bay. This is a business center, the outlines of which from afar resemble a sailing ship. Its spire or mast pierces the clouds. Lahta Center is the tallest skyscraper in Europe. Why did we come here? Because from its viewpoint you can finally see the whole city of St. Petersburg.